Material Components. Episode 5. The Final Trial. Hello and welcome to Material Components, the actual play RPG show all about intelligent items and the adventurers who love them. I am your Dungeon Master, Mike Gorgoni, and joining me as always are my stalwart adventurers. Hello adventurers, how's it going?
Hello.
Going pretty good.
Hello. I am Olivia Gray. I will be playing Tears of Cloakbearer, daughter of the Outer Storm.
I am Cassie Lewis, Cass, and I will be playing Cherish, the Tiefling Sorcerer.
I am Michael, and I'm going to be playing Sid Emberlight, the dashingly handsome rogue half-elf.
Nice and modest. Hi, I'm Reed Morris, and I'll be playing Grawl, the Hexblade Warlock.
Excellent. So, welcome back to all of you watching, listening, and everywhere in between. I would like to begin this session by the same way I begin every session, by asking our four players here, do you remember what happened last time?
Yes.
Yes.
So long ago.
The only two characters that matter,
there was-
Valor and Judah, almost drowned.
We did almost done. We were on an island in the middle of Lake Quelio, I believe.
Let's bring a quick view up on the world map for our watchers on YouTube.
Let's do that.
You can see on
Hello, map.
Hello, map. On the far north, we have Lake Quelio there, and right in the center, there's that island, the Crescent.
Mm-hmm.
the
And
croissant.
while we were, or the croissant, depending on what region you're from, and the water was rising, so and there was fish people coming out of it, and they were attacking us, and a woman ran away screaming, again, and so Judah and Valor went to go save her, while the rest of us went to the top of the plateau to fight some kind of
Fish cult.
fish cult, I guess. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. We are missing one very important detail to all of this, and that is context.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was our test.
If this
It
is
was-
the
this
first
the test.
episode you're listening to, bad news. Don't just stop it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the fourth. Yeah, this was the fourth test. So
The fourth of the Skein Witch's trials.
Yes.
sure, yeah.
mean.
Is it the fourth? It's
I think
That
so.
was that was the third. Now we're
This
going to be
is
doing the fourth.
now.
now we're in the fourth. Oh right, yes.
Say what?
Oh dear.
Um,
Okay.
Also, that woman who ran away is another one of the Threadless who's been taking these tests, and her party has not done as well as ours or the B teams.
Oh, she was from another party.
Yeah.
She was from that tertiary party. That
Right, the one
hasn't
where
made
everybody
it to us.
died.
But
Yeah.
everyone but her is dead. And
You know. Mm.
It is a pretty big bummer, yeah.
They should be better at combat.
Yeah. Yeah.
what? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't know. No sentiment.
and the since I think we finally figured out the pattern to the tests last time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
Earth, air, wind, and fire.
Yeah, air, fire, and water.
Oh.
You dumbass.
Wow, I wonder what could be next. It's probably love,
yes,
actually.
probably hard.
It's hard, yeah.
Probably hard. We did mostly successfully defeat the fish cult.
Yeah, you're fine.
Tirza and I died briefly, but it's fine.
It's fine.
The old mage managed to make contact with me, Cherish, during the test.
That was
And
weird.
It was weird. It was very weird. And then at the end of the test, unless anybody has anything else they want to recap from the actual fight.
Nope.
Nothing except that I had a very good time.
Yeah,
Oh, it was a blast.
it was a blast. I got bonked. It was
A
very
blast
funny.
of lightning.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hey, the lightning thing was pretty cool. Okay, like, legitimately, that was like my fondest. Like, oh, that shit was cool moment.
But then when we appeared back in the like the town square in Stormhaven, we were like mobbed by a bunch of people.
We're
Right.
famous.
That's right.
Yeah. And the old mage met us there when we came back, and she stopped time, and she was actually physically there and like touching people and carried me off, which you guys don't know. That's weird, but I do. And she was like, "Hey, we're gonna kill the Skein Witch." Mike, if you would provide the voice.
Hey,
we're
I'm
gonna kill the
totally
Skein
here
Witch.
physically, and you all don't know that's weird, but Cherish would know that that's weird. And guess what? We're totally going to kill the Skein Witch. It's fine. Everything's fine.
The old mage thing totally it might be my new favorite thing.
This is me doing the old mage voice, doing the recap. It's fine.
Everything's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what I got.
But yes, the old mage at the end of last year's trial had proposed that the Skein Witch must die. And in order to enact that plan, half of the next year will be spent in research, trying to find a way in which to even do that, and the other half would be collecting what is needed to accomplish that goal. So before we get to the second half of the year in which you all shared some adventure to get the MacGuffin to kill the Skein Witch, what did your characters do individually with the first half of your year?
I'll go first.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go first. Graal's gonna lead the party this time, for once. Graal decided to finally read some stuff in the libraries of Old Haven, because now he can do that. And talking to an old man on the streets, he found out that there once was a library in Old Haven that was taken over by some sort of religious cult kind of thing, and that it burnt down, and then somehow there was like an old like greenhouse there now that's been closed down and whatnot. Graal decided to explore, because, you know, late at night when a strange moth lands on the gate, you're like, must be a sign. It was a sign.
Yeah.
It landed on the sign anyway.
Yeah, well, the sign said closed for renovations, and it looked like it's been closed for 60 years. Not very quick at that. So Graal explored and found that the entire place was like abandoned, but it had all been like overgrown with giant vines and whatnot, and descended down to the underbelly of this kind of like I want to say like arboreum kind of thing, where thick like black mold was growing all over everything and consuming kind of like the walls and items and shelves. And
Technically,
whatnot.
it was a russet mold.
Oh.
It was a russet mold that
Not
I
Jackie
totally
Mathis.
came up. No. But apparently down below the greenhouse was some sort of like chamber in which a man was wrapped around a book from which all these kind of like vines and mold growing out of, and the man woke up kind of covered in mold and whatnot and scared Graal to a certain extent, to which he slashed him in half. And everything in the arboreum slowly started to like decay and die and collapse in on itself. So yeah, Graal escaped, and I killed the book.
As a brief aside, Graal, not that your character would necessarily know this, but it's probably something you found out later, which is you had entered a small portion of what is called the Underhaven, a series of abandoned buildings that have sunken to the swampy ground around the river, or labyrinthine cemeteries that are excavated beneath the city betimes.
Oh.
So there is a whole underground network beneath Stormhaven that most sane people don't go to.
Is it all moldy?
Sounds badass.
Chunks of it can be moldy, but
Not
You gotta
wrong.
eat around the chunks.
what you had found there underneath that arboreum was a piece of the Underhaven.
Funsies.
Super cool.
Next.
I'll go.
okay.
Tirza stays in Stormhaven. Eventually, she will have to return to Utbari to take vows and become like an actual part of a religious order. But Neta is not like pushing her to do that, and so she was like, I'm just gonna stay here for a second. So she stays in Stormhaven, and I kind of assume that they just stay at the Wandering Rose for
Sure.
yeah, and helps out in the community, does like charity work, and becomes familiar with some people from the Divine Athenium, which is a collection of religious scholars, kind of, that take in religious information from before magic went mad.
Pretty much. The idea
yeah.
behind the Divine Athenium is that when civilization, or what was left of it, was shepherded into the valley, there wasn't much left of organized religion as a whole. So what's left of religion is practiced in sects and cults and small places of worship, and the Divine Athenium attempts to collect remnants of information about religions of the past in an attempt to maybe reigniting those religions, or maybe just making sure people are still aware that, like, oh yeah, the gods are out there, hopefully.
Yeah, and helping out in the community and basically doing missionary stuff. And I forgot that the most important thing that happens to her, which I totally spaced on, even though it's so in the Jarashir, I haven't really explained this, although Mike, you gave a kind of a quick rundown, I think, in the episode 1. The Jarashir have 12 items that are considered sacred. They are augurs, and they are from the beginning of Tempest Rest Valley, either from before the time when magic went mad, or immediately after. And the mythos of the Jarashir say that when all 12 of these items have been bonded with, it means that the outer storm is imminent, that the collapse of the bubble that keeps everybody in the Tempest Rest Valley is safe will collapse, and chaos will reign. And so basically they're preparing themselves for that. And the last augur was bonded with.
Oh.
Yay!
Hooray!
The end is nigh. And we
Yay.
shall be saved.
Mhm.
So yeah. So Tears is having a great year.
And lest we forget, Tirza is in fact the bearer of one of these augurs.
Yes.
It has not been super relevant up to this point, but it will become more relevant as we move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, that was my year.
That's your year.
Just having
Half
a good
year.
time. Half year, yes.
Half year, yeah. My half year, I basically spent sort of leaning on the celebrity status that we now have as the Threadless. I've appeared at several public events. I met several political leaders.
You probably met the Lord Mayor at least once.
Oh yeah. So I'm still doing my job at the Bards Guild. So that's where I'm making most of my money, but I'm spending my time just kind of trying to like see how much I can get out of this sort of impromptu celebrity status that I was not anticipating of having. In that time, I sort of leaned more into that and kind of stopped my training a little bit, and so that slowed down. I haven't really seen my master super recently. As the year progresses, perhaps Sid thinks that I don't think I need it anymore. I'm pretty accomplished now.
Hit the big time.
Hit the big time, exactly. So yeah, nothing too eventful. Just stuff like that.
I mean, the big thing coming out of this half year is that you've started leaning into the name that you've chosen for yourself.
Yes. So now, yeah, I am Sid Emberlight. So yeah, I'm fully embracing that identity now.
Are you still doing vigilante stuff?
It's sort of like, because the kind of stuff that I was doing before wasn't like it was a little bit more like Daredevil, where it's kind of like an excuse to go out and beat up bad guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
We all know that feeling.
We all know that feeling in real life. Yeah. So yes, but it at the moment, like, being famous is kind of taking up most of my time.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's sort of a Luke Cage scenario more than anything.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was my year. Or half year.
All right. Cherish was not super keen on the kill the Skein Witch ASAP plan. And she did stay in Stormhaven for a little bit, and like probably was like, "Oh, Tirza, you should stay with me at the Wandering Rose," and then probably just was like, "Actually, here, you can just have this room. I'll pay for it, whatever."
Oh, hell yeah!
And then, because she was like, she's really more interested in still finding out what's going on. And so she contacts the old mage and is like, I want to come to the tower to do some research about this, to help you if you need help, and to do research for our teams about the stuff we need to do and where we need to go. And kind of used that as a in to try and do research about anything related to things that we've heard the Skein Witch say, or references to things that we've seen. She does also still do the reconnaissance and strategy research, obviously, but also the other stuff. And I will get into all of that later. There's a presentation that will be happening.
See here on slide 3.
Yes.
Prestidigitation is a very versatile spell, that's all I'll say.
Oh, I know. My Listman was saying something about it earlier, and so now I'm like, okay, so I'm going to do this, and this prestidigitation during the presentation. But that's basically what Cherish did for her whole half year, was just books, notes, and all kinds of things like that.
And that was of a strong amount of help to the old mage, because it is within that first half year that she establishes what can destroy the Skein Witch is a magical item of terrible power. That item, of course, being the Deck of Many Things. It is assumed the Skein Witch is a creature of fate and logic and the mathematical precision with which the universe ticks. All research seems to indicate that. The Deck of Many Things is not any of that. It is chaos in a small pouch that you can wear at your waist. It is the madness that lurks within the shuffle of a few cards and the draw of one.
Please tell me it comes, the pouch that it's coming in is some sort of fanny pack?
No, it's like a leather pouch with a little clasp over the top. But
okay. Let's hope for a fanny pack scenario.
The location of a Deck of Many Things is a trial in and of itself. And within the first half year, the old mage determines that there are 2 locations which could possibly hold an item like that date back all the way to the beginnings of the Tempest Rest Valley, even perhaps before the settling of the valley when magic went mad.
Mm-hmm.
Those two locations are an ancient castle/ruin called the Dockmore and a abandoned dwarven citadel far to the north that is rumored to have been abandoned for very good reasons after the dwarves there may or may not have broken into a large swath of the Underdark. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is.
Let's go to that one.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Let's go to the one we haven't discussed yet.
Exactly.
It's improv.
So
We'll die.
it is determined that between the two teams of Threadless that you could split up to cover more ground properly in hopes of finding the Deck of Many Things. The team of Valor, Judah, Talila, and Camion head north to the abandoned dwarven fortress. The four of you are sent south into the moors just beyond the Eastwood. And it is there that you found the Dockmore and adventure ensued. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that adventure real quick?
So Cherish did some research on the Dockmore at the tower, like finding out the history of the place and like all the information about. I mean, not like a architectural layout of the castle.
Oh, these
like,
blueprints.
I found these blueprints in the tower.
Yeah.
But more like, it used to be like a really grand place, and the vaults beneath the castle itself are rumored to have, at least at some point, had like incredible treasures, but the actual like underground part itself was built like in a labyrinthine manner to keep all of that treasure safe. And it's like there are rumors that there are ghosts there. It's not 100% clear, but it might be called haunted for a good reason that's not actual ghosts, if that makes sense. There's something bad.
Like a Scooby-Doo scenario?
There are worse things than ghosts that
Yeah.
haunt the Dockmore.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what Cherish provides for the initial journey. Like, oh, it's a castle. We're probably looking for what's underneath the castle.
Yes,
but it's-
let us bring up our old friend the map yet again for our
Yes.
viewers. If you can see Stormhaven there in the center of the valley, the travels of the four party members brought them south down along the main road past Fort Verge, which you actually do eventually learn that is where Valor is from. It is a large central trading fort. But farther south still, down along the road towards Srothheim, you eventually cut to the east along those long, mist-shrouded moors. And in the center there, you would eventually find the Dockmore.
Mhm.
And all told, that would be roughly a 2.5 week journey. Because once you get off the main road, it starts getting a bit of a harder trek.
Yeah.
The mountains can be treacherous.
So yes, what else occurred at the Dockmore?
Using Grawl, knowing that what we're looking for is some sort of like magical mystic thingamathing, decided to use Eldritch Sight to kind of like navigate the underbelly of the castle to see if he could like pinpoint a location, and he was able to kind of like a compass to steer them in the right direction, not necessarily like turn left at the T, but gave us like a general direction of where we're supposed to be heading.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't like make our way away from like the deck.
And we didn't die of starvation lost in a labyrinth.
Yeah.
Very important. And then wasn't there like a room where we got attacked by a bunch of skeletons?
Yes.
And then we took those guys out pretty quickly. I was able to handle that pretty well because I'm awesome. And
nobody else helped.
I'm like, don't worry, guys, I got this.
We all held up signs with
Right,
scores on them.
For each skeleton I dispatched, you voted as to how flashy
cool
it
was.
Ooh,
Yeah,
and that's
cool it
a
was.
5 from the Hobgoblin Judge. A harsh critic.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
never went above a 6.
It,
Yeah.
it
could
looks
do
like
better.
Cherish is just putting up 10s every time. It's kind of losing its meaning at this point. Good job, Sid!
Yes, and we talked about like maybe sort of like obstacles and stuff. I don't know if that was.
Oh yeah, there were definitely traps
Yeah.
that we needed help navigating, or
Navigating, disarming,
Sid's
Not
roguish
dying to.
expertise definitely came in handy while navigating the trapped corridors and deadly hallways beneath the Dockmore.
I
What
am
he
gonna
said.
I am gonna throw in there though. There at least one was definitely set off by Tirza being like, "Yeah, I got this, guys," and grabbing a door and just like hit.
The most efficient way is, of course, constitution-based trap finding.
That's true.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
That's
It's fine.
Tirza's tagline.
Yeah.
So,
and then
yeah.
we got through.
Eventually, you wound your way to the bottom of the Dockmore, and it is there that you were confronted by an ancient, undead sphinx at one of the last remaining vaults beneath the castle, because you had found this place mostly plundered.
Yeah.
But in this last little location, you were able to... How did you combat the sphinx? I believe it presented you with a riddle, but fighting it was definitely an option.
Well, Sid and Grawl definitely wanted to fight it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tirza has
Absolutely.
-1 intelligence, man.
So,
Cherish probably asked what the riddle was, and like as she was asking, Tirza like ran past her like, ah! Like, oh, okay, I guess, okay, it's fine.
And like during the fight, you're still trying to figure out like what was the answer to that? Like how did maybe
I don't
he
even
did.
think I heard the riddle.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure the
maybe.
answer was an egg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
No, actually, the answer was man. We all know the Sphinx is riddle.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, plundering the last sealed vault of the Dockmore, you indeed did find the Deck of Many Things, the last dire warning of the old mage ringing in your ears. Do not, under any circumstances, pull a card from this deck.
What about like taking the whole deck and throwing it up into the air?
52 card
We're
pickup.
not playing
Yeah.
Cherish.
I'm not
Cherish
saying that
is like-
happened. I'm just curious.
Would everything happen at once? That's my
Cherish
question.
insists on being the one to. Cherish insists on being the one to carry the deck.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Fair.
damn it.
Grawl already has his own deck of cards. He doesn't need another one. He's fine.
We're not playing 52 pickup with the cards with the deck of many things. We're not touching it. We're not looking at it. I'm going to put it in my pouch, and everything's going to be fine.
Can't even imagine.
I have 156 gold pieces. How many would I have to pay you to draw a card from the deck of many things?
More than that,
Oh,
definitely, because
damn it.
I have more than you actually. So
Probably.
So, on top of the Deck of Many Things, you would also discovered a small hoard of treasure beneath the Dockmore. Within, each of you acquired a magic item. On top of your 5th level that you acquired, so way to go. Good job, everybody.
Yeah.
yay! Woo!
We're all ripped now. All of us. We're so
Yes.
shredded.
8 packs.
Yeah.
Not our rippedness, although
I mean, clearly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tears is the most ripped out of all of you. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You
yeah.
wear the most armor. Of course you'd be
I
the
have-
most ripped.
I have a -1 strength, so I'm not ripped.
But
Not
how old are all of us at this point? I'm 17.
I'd probably
17?
be that.
It's been 5
'Cause-
years, and I was 12 at
That's
the
true.
beginning.
Okay.
So
But you were 16. You were 15 last time.
Well, 15 going
I
on
was
16.
I was 12 when we began, and it's been 5 years, so I'm 17
So
now.
how about this?
Did I do my math wrong?
How about Tears' birthday is the last day of the Maker Festival?
Yes! I
No,
love
that's-
it. Happy
that's-
birthday
that's-
to me.
No, that's bad. It's like having a birthday near Christmas. Everyone's gonna forget your birthday,
Yeah.
which is why
That's-
we've never celebrated it because we keep forgetting.
The Jarashir don't really celebrate birthdays except an acknowledgement of birth, so
There's like, great job.
it's not like a party. Yeah.
You made it another year. Good luck
Mhm.
next year.
Yeah, I mean, dog, you're 16.
I mean, that's not how math works, but alright.
I mean, okay, so I was 13 the first one. So then the first test, 14. Second test, 15. Third test, the one we just had, 16. And now this one, 17. And I'm a year older than you.
Math is hard.
Math, son.
But there's been 5.
Probably mentioned
Oh,
that
there's
before.
been
Yeah.
5 sessions, but I was 12. And
Yes.
math is hard.
It's hard.
Stay in school, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go get that college degree.
Yeah, but just don't
Yep.
get into theater.
Earn
Yeah.
that. I don't have a degree, so even one in theater works.
I have one in theater and one in not in theater, so you had me going for a while there.
Yeah. Okay.
Same boat.
So, Olivia, you are
I'm 16.
you're 16. Cass is
17.
17. I would be 19 at this point.
Mm.
And then you, Grawl, how old are you?
I'm 27.
27. Okay.
Yep.
It's the old boy.
It's never going to stop being funny.
Y'all hang out with me, I don't hang out with you.
I mean, we
I make
have
that a
to, don't we?
point. Yep. It's it's like you go. Basically, what it is, it's the older person that just decided to go to community college. He was doing something else, and now he's in with all of the people that just got out of high school.
Right. And now he buys beer.
You're
for us.
literally Chevy Chase's character in Community.
No,
Yeah.
Yep,
Grawl
you
is
are.
not Chevy Chase.
Constantly
Yup.
falling over, tripping on things, getting your foot stuck in things.
I really
You
just want to
twisted
see
the party.
art of Chevy Chase as a hobgoblin.
Ooh.
It's kind of the.
All right, Cass, make it happen.
Yeah, I'm on
I
it.
don't know if I don't know if I want to make that comment.
All right. So,
Yeah.
on top
What,
of the
Chevy
deck of
Chase
many
is
things.
so old that he looks like a hobgoblin anyway.
Yeah. That was a joke.
On top of the deck of many things, each of you acquired a magic item. Would you like to detail what that magic item was that you acquired?
Yes, I got the glamored studded armor, which is fantastic. It is a +1 armor. So now my AC is 17, which is great. And as a command word, with a command word, I get to transform it and make my outfit look like anything I want. Which is fantastic, but I still get to keep the armor bonus.
Nice.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, glam as hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is my item.
Do you dress yourself up as any particular in any particular way already?
However I want. The way I was dressing before is how I drew it and how Cass drew it. So kind of rags before. Now I can pretty much dress however I want. So.
Billowy shirts forever.
Oh yeah.
Do you still
Maybe
have to
maybe a
bathe
cloak.
to keep it clean, or will you smell through the illusion?
He would smell through the illusion.
Okay.
Asking Reed asking the important question.
These are you got to think about that.
Girl wants to know.
I think as I became an employee of the or hired, I think I have access to bathing now. Thank you very much.
Girl would
Anyway.
like to.
Who's up?
Cherish has a necklace of fireballs. Oh, Mike, did you roll up how many beads I have?
I will do that right now.
It's 1d6 plus 3.
I know. You have 7 beads.
Ooh.
And basically, all the beads act as mini. Well, they're not mini because they do the same amount of damage as Fireball, but I can throw the beads up to 60 feet, and then they explode into the Fireball spell. It's great.
But
Up
once
to 60 feet?
well,
Yeah.
the normal range on Fireball is much, much higher than that.
It's much higher.
Yeah.
But
Cherish just has a good arm. Damn.
the drawback to that item is, of course, that once the beads are gone, they are gone.
Yes.
Mhm.
I can also choose to throw them all at once, and I don't exactly remember how bad that is, but it's pretty bad.
I mean, look up how much damage a 7th level Fireball would do.
Oh boy,
Hella.
that's a lot.
Makes me
Uh,
uncomfortable.
Oh boy. Oh, math again?
Yeah.
that's all this game is.
That's true. Yeah.
Cherish does all our math for us.
That's 10d6 plus. That's just 10d6 fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. No.
That'd be pretty good.
All right,
Yeah.
so what else did we get?
The opposite of throwing things and they're gone forever. Tirza finds a fucking badass gauntlet that she wears on her non-dominant hand and discovers that she can use said gauntlet to summon Meretziger back to her hand. So after I throw a weapon, I can use a bonus action to summon it back to my hand on the next round.
Awesome.
Cool.
Really cool.
Dang.
So yes,
Yeah.
the Gauntlet of Returning, again, just a single gauntlet that you have, allows you to return any weapon thrown last round, so long as it's within 60 feet of you, back to your hand as a bonus action.
Yeah.
So keep in mind the previous round thing. It means you cannot throw a weapon and then immediately summon it back
Yep.
to your hand.
No, never mind. I was just about to reference a thing that never mind. It's okay.
We're all thinking
Non-references
it.
aside, Gral's thing isn't quite as glamorous or attack worthy or anything like that. I picked up the Pearl of Power, so I can just get one of my spell slots back once a day, as long as the spell slot is like
Third level
yeah,
or
fourth
lower.
level, third level or lower.
Oh.
Yeah, once a day.
Which, how many spell slots do you have?
2, I think, still.
Oh, warlocks.
Yeah, yeah. One day I'll be hanging out with the cool kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5th level. Yeah, no. I know 6 spells, but oh my god. 11th level is when I get 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I thought paladins were all right.
No,
Well,
no.
okay,
There's a reason why
so-
I hang out with you guys.
Reed, though you do know the big difference between warlocks and every other spellcaster, though, correct?
Yes, I can use stuff at the maximum of the spell level.
There's that, but
Right.
there's also, as opposed to every other spellcaster, warlocks get all of their spell slots back during a short rest.
That's true.
Mhm.
We need to take our adventures much more slowly, okay?
Take more breaks.
Slow, steady wins the race.
Just-
An old turtle once told me.
Orange
Okay.
slice and Gatorade breaks.
Yep.
All the time.
Dude, Capri Sun for days.
Yeah.
Well, so
Turn
your
this into
adventures
something.
at the dock more complete. You also find yourself in the possession of a pretty good chunk of change coming away from that vault. Each of you now have 725 gold to your name.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's-
Is that added on to what we have?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn.
Then fuck you. I can buy a spyglass.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to. That would get all my money.
If you want to spend 1,000 gold on a spyglass, you are welcome to.
And that was 720 what?
725.
725. Gonna do a little bit of math here.
The GM will remember that Cass said, fuck you.
Also, I forgot that we were having that discussion pre-recording, so just out of nowhere, everyone hearing me say, fuck you, I can buy a spyglass. Just completely out of...
Cass wants a spyglass. That's
I want
the
a
context
spyglass.
needed.
So, your journeys back to Stormhaven are a little bit more circuitous. There is a long, winding river that leads up through the Eastwood that you ride a fair way because you figure it would be quicker to ride the river up than trying to trek across those wasted moors yet again to the road.
Yeah.
So you find yourselves coming back to Stormhaven with a couple months to spare before the Maker Festival begins. That time is spent in preparation, however your characters see fit, probably doing much the same as you were before. Grawl spending time exploring chunks of the Underhaven, now discovered that this is a place where perhaps people like you are a bit less screamed at.
Yeah. And they have good deals on breastplates and stuff like that for hobgoblins. It seems they're just lying around. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cherish.
Yes.
The old mage would ask that you hold on to the deck of many things.
Yes.
You are implicitly trusted by Zenerva as the one to carry this item into the trial. Again, her warnings repeatedly are, you shouldn't have to draw any cards off of this thing. It's the mere presence of this item should destroy the Skein Witch if it is within a very short proximity of her. So if you get the deck of many things to within, she's not sure, but a pretty close proximity of the Skein Witch, it should destroy her entirely.
Okay.
It's like two negative and positive ions, like, just annihilating each other. I probably fucked that science up. Anyway. We find you now meeting once again in the Wandering Rose at the beginning of the Maker Festival. It is that time yet again. Word has begun to get around that some of you at least congregate here, and it is now getting to the point where the owner of this establishment, this robust Goliath woman who's like a half-giant, has a long, rumbling giant name that none of you can really pronounce, and she says that you can just call her Poe.
How does Grawl feel about Poe?
She doesn't seem to care about you either way. I don't know how Grawl feels about half-giants.
Grawl's fine with half-giants as long as they don't throw trees at me.
But come the time of the Maker Festival, she has essentially set aside her entire inn just for the Threadless. So the four of you have rooms to yourselves, as well as the other four who are coming back empty-handed from their quest, having spent maybe a little more time in the Underdark than they were hoping to. Though,
Oh no.
Talila seems like she's in a great mood.
She had the time of her life. And she owes it all to us.
And she makes passing references about homecomings that everyone finds rather disturbing.
Is she from the Underdark?
That seems to be the implication, yes.
Oh.
Spookums.
That's good to know.
So yes.
Unrelated, but Tirza has definitely done not bartending, because Tirza wouldn't do that, but manual labor and stuff for Poe. They're not friends, but Tirza is known for helping out and doing stuff. So anything Poe needs, I'm your gal.
She respects your help and appreciates what hands can be given around her establishment. The Wandering Rose is apparently her pride and joy. She inherited it from her father, who inherited it from his father, who inherited it from his mother, who inherited it from her mother, going back all the way to the founding of Stormhaven. This was one of the first places built outside the walls of Oldhaven. So, as the 8 of you, as well as any of your surrogates gather here, I'm guessing Netta, Kalkan are probably both here. Omatep might step in from time to time, and we've lost Lisman. And Lisman's back.
Here he comes.
Hello, everyone.
So yes, Any other NPCs you would like in attendance at the Wandering Rose?
Not that I can think of.
Should Omega
I mean,
be here?
that other girl who ran away should also be here, but I don't know if we know where she is.
Nope, no one said they devoted any time in their time trying to find her, so no.
And the B team didn't do it?
It turns out, if asked about it, Valor and Judah actually tried. They attempted to find her, and they followed a trail of rumors leading into the Underhaven, and then the trail went cold.
Yeah, I'm
Well, that's
sorry
sad.
about her.
So,
Who knows? Maybe she's happier.
We're dead.
Valor, Talila, Judah, and Camion are coming into the Wandering Rose now. They are coming in pretty much the day before the Maker Festival begins, just as things are beginning to ramp up, their quest having been a much longer and more exhausting one, wandering through dark tunnels, fighting horrible, pale monsters beneath the mountains.
Was there no way that Zenerva could have communicated that? Like, because we completed our quest earlier than theirs, is that correct?
Yes, 100%.
So there was no way for Zenerva to communicate with them?
It doesn't seem like it.
Hmm.
You're kind of figuring out that over the course of all of these years interacting with her, she is nearly omnipotent within the city of Stormhaven, but outside of that, she doesn't necessarily have the same amount of power.
Gotcha.
You're not quite sure why. And
Even in the tower?
the tower, she is also pretty much omnipotent as well. But outside those two locations, you've never seen her outside either of those two locations, I'll say that much. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. Cherish has, though that was a weird...
It was a weird situation.
Yeah. So, you 8 Threadless find yourselves in the Wandering Rose on the first day of the Maker Festival, enjoying some drinks. The mood is slightly anxious, as you know what is coming at the 5th day of this festival, but there's nothing you can really do but wait.
Yeah.
I have a very important question. Is there service? Can we get service? Can we get service over here, please?
Don't be rude.
I've been sitting here for a while, and I don't want to be rude, but I also am very hungry. I could go for some food and something to drink. Is there anyone around?
The dwarven bartender is a dwarf named Angus the Ill-Tempered.
Angus the Ill-Tempered. Sounds like they know how to handle a customer.
Poe did not hire them for their customer service.
Mm-hmm.
She hired him for his handling of customers out the door.
Okay, gotcha.
A bartender that can hold their own is a valuable thing. And Angus does it with aplomb.
Now, okay, so if we've been here before, we know that we need to order at the bar or not, is that correct?
Angus will eventually bustle over, and whatever drinks you ordered are delivered.
Great.
Yeah.
Shirley Temple?
I was just going to say
What's the
Shirley
drinking age in
Temple.
Stormhaven?
There isn't really.
Great.
It's if you can see over the bar.
I mean, no, because
sorry,
halflings and
Tears.
gnomes are a thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't get service. It's crazy.
Oh,
They're racist.
So,
I mean.
yes, the bar is essentially empty, but for you 8, Netta and Kalkan are over at a table by themselves. They seem to be commiserating over stories of their own.
Mm-hmm.
oh, I thought you were going to say over raising Cherish and I.
You're not dead yet,
Yeah, that's true.
but the 8 Threadless are gathering over at a pair of tables near the fire as you're giving your drinks.
Okay.
I buy a round for each of them as well. Assuming they want one.
Valor settles down and says, "Well, I'm glad your quest was more successful than ours, for sure. You have it then?"
Yes.
That's good, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just not sure it's necessary, and I know that Zenerva is doing the best that she can, but I don't think that we know enough about what's going on to really make such a huge judgment. I did a lot of research the first half of this year, and I just sort of want to tell you what I think is going on.
Okay. What do you got?
Cass, just let me know when you want me to bring up the chart.
Okay. Cherish from I don't know where, but pulls out a rather sizable piece of vellum, and tacks it on the wall, also somehow. And on it is this chart
For our YouTube,
I have created.
For our YouTube viewers, they will show off this chart here.
For those who are listening to a podcast, I'm sure it'll be on the website. I don't know.
But very roughly, it is a cosmology chart.
Yes.
It shows a very rough layout of at least the local multiverse.
Yes. And Cherish put that together while she was at the tower, doing research about what, like I said in the beginning, about anything that she could find referencing things like the Gray Path, threadless, being outside the weave, references to silver threads, the in-between, and stuff like that. And basically, she says, okay, so she points to the material plane. This is where we are. This is where everything exists. And possibly just the valley. There might not be anything outside the valley. Who knows?
There is. There isn't.
Okay.
I mean, we can see through the storm, right? Like, we can see that there's a landscape out there.
No.
No.
No?
My cast
There's nothing out there.
I haven't been to the edge of the valley, so I wouldn't know.
Cherish casts prestidigitation to make an illusory pointer stick. And then she whaps at the paper and using prestidigitation makes a clicking sound and says, "Please stop interrupting."
Should we be taking notes?
Save questions until the end.
Should we be taking notes?
If you can't remember, then yes.
Judah is already taking notes.
I've already forgotten. What are we talking about?
Okay. So, outside of the material plane, we have the Shadowfell and the Feywild, and the ethereal plane circling those. Not really the most important part, though. These, and she taps at the air, water, fire, and earth planes, little semicircles. These are the elemental planes, and you can see that they are related to, quite closely, the tests that we have experienced in the past couple of years. Air, for when we were in that horrible storm. Fire, for the giant fire we were in. Water, for the last test where, everything was drowning.
Mm-hmm.
And my theory is that the next test will involve Earth. And I think actually the Skein Witch said as much, or the old mage did.
That was Maz, actually.
Oh. My Forgebond item told me. And outside of all of this, encompassing all of it, is the astral plane, and she taps the big outer circle. The astral plane is a realm of thought and dreams, and those who travel there by projecting themselves into the astral plane, all have silver threads attached to them. Sounds familiar?
Mm-hmm.
People who physically travel to the astral plane via the plane shift spell or through a portal do not have silver threads. Now, the astral plane has lots of different portals. They're pools of color that go to other planes of existence, including the material plane. Now, our other threadless friends I don't like the face you're making, Mike. It's making me so nervous. I feel like I'm giving a presentation in front of a class.
You
But
kind of are.
I kind of am. Camion, Talila, Judah, Valor, what exactly happened to you guys the first year when all this started? Because we were just walking around the city and everything suddenly stopped and went all blue-gray.
And Camion and Judah will look at each other and nod, and Judah will say, "We were in that strange blue city with those weird, pale, horrible, crawly monster things."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Camion, who's clearly turned to spring with a dash of summer just at the thought of fighting those things, goes, "Yeah, that was a good time." And Judah shakes his head and says, "No, it really wasn't." And Talila says, "They had wonderful bones. Their bones were on the outside."
I guess they were, yeah.
Yeah.
Really gross.
And
Yeah.
Valor says, "Yes, Talila and I met while we were trying to make our way through the streets. There was another with us, Joseph. He did not make it past the first trial."
Sorry.
And Talila says, "I didn't even get his bones."
During this
Yeah.
whole thing, Grawl is eating like several chicken legs and tossing them towards Talila.
And she's catching each one and putting them into her backpack.
Yep, I'm just helping a friend out.
Love it.
I write a note on a piece of paper, and I fold it into a paper airplane, and I throw it at Tirza.
I catch it and open it. What does it say?
It's actually just a picture of a butt.
It's a really nice butt too. Like
It's a very well drawn butt. and
Actually,
it's-
give me a
it's-
performance check.
Yeah.
Oh no!
roll for butts.
All right.
Butts.
Yes. It would be 20.
Michelangelo
Tirza?
would be jealous of this butt.
Tirza goes bright red and quickly folds it up and puts it on the table.
This is adorable.
And I look to see if you respond.
I don't look at it.
Meanwhile, the four other threadless are explaining that, yes, basically the same thing happened to them. The strange thing is that all of them ended up in that same courtyard that you did and were confronted by the Skein Witch, but you don't remember seeing anyone else in
Yeah.
the courtyard besides the four of you. So it seems
No.
like the story that's being put together is that there were multiple instances of that courtyard within the city at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I even wonder if there's more groups than just our two.
Well,
There's that girl who we can't seem to, keep track of, and
Mm-hmm.
And her group.
And
And
she was
her
from a group.
group.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
And you know that across the fountain from you in the first test, the only thing that appeared was one of the doppelgangers.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed to imply that there had maybe been four groups, and two of which have been decimated at this point.
Wow. Yeah. Bummer.
Camion,
Hmm?
you don't really have to get into it, but would you know if you walked into a portal leading to the astral plane? I'm kind of trying to, because I know his thing, or their whole thing is like a secret, so I'm trying to walk around that, but being like,
Right, and
you do this thing.
they're picking up on that as well. And Camion, who will fade into a contemplative, their skin will be this fine hickory color, their hair becomes this vibrant green, they seem to be turning to spring, and they will say, "I would know a portal regardless of where it led."
Okay.
If it was to the astral
Because-
plane, I'm sure I would figure it out should I walk through it.
Fair enough. The other year I spent with getting taught by the old mage, and there are some things that I learned about the Tempest Rest Valley. That it's not entirely
And Camion will
Clearly.
lean in and say, "Cherish." And suddenly their scale is this pearlescent white.
well, Camion. Clearly, all of us are aware that an incursion by an outer power is possible. That's not news.
And Valor will look between his companion and you, Cherish, and say, "What is this about? Camion,
Yeah,
what is
yes,
this?"
it's very concerning that you two are having a conversation that we seem to know nothing about.
How big is this table, by the way? Is this like?
I mean,
Roll within
you're
earshot?
you're basically splitting two tables, and Cherish has taken up the wall just next to both of the tables and
We've
created this
shoved them
presentation.
together, La Vie Boheme style.
But yeah, why are you saying all this? What is your point?
My point is, I have a theory. My theory is that whatever's keeping the Tempest Rest Valley safe is putting us in a weird, planar crossroads of sorts. And it seems that we're being accessed by the astral plane and maybe others. And we seem to be having these tests that are located in this plane, but also in the elemental planes. I mean, I just think that it's worth asking the Skein Witch. And from what I could find on her, it's more like she's just observing than anything else. I'm not sure that she's the one doing this.
And Valor will lean in and says, "She's the one who initiated these tests."
How do you know?
And Judah says, "Because she said so. On the first year, she said you could be the ones to help, but you will be tested. What else could that have meant?"
It doesn't necessarily mean that she was testing us. She was just saying that we would be tested.
Sid has a good point. I'm still not looking at Sid.
Look, I'm not saying that I have all of the actual exact answers, but this is what I was researching, and this is the information I have, and this is the conclusion I came to. And
And Camion will
I
say,
don't think
"What are you proposing?"
I'm proposing that we don't just immediately murder her the minute we see her after the next test. That's literally all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Judah nods, Valor nods, Talila doesn't seem to be paying any attention.
Yeah, it's par for the course.
Camion will just keep giving you this intense, wintry, literally, stare. And saying, "If the old mage believes that killing the Skein Witch will keep the valley safe, then that's what needs to be done."
Camion, what if this whole thing that the Skein Witch needs help with is so much bigger than what's happening now, and so much worse? If we kill her, we won't know what to do.
You're saying
Yeah.
you would trust something from outside than the old mage who has kept us safe for so long.
I'm not saying that I want to trust her implicitly. I just want to get more information. We don't know all the facts. I
And-
don't feel comfortable making such a large decision with such little information.
Judah nods, and the huge minotaur, its bull head and horns, even sitting down, threaten to catch themselves in chandeliers, will say, "It is wrong to judge another sentient being based solely on their origin or their appearance, Camion. Adventuring with me should have perhaps taught you that." And Camion will lean back and fold their arms and sort of look away, their skin shifting from winter to autumn.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you, Cherish. There's no reason why we should necessarily just believe something just because we were told that it was true. Maybe there's something deeper. And yeah, I'm with you.
Girl just wants to fight something. He doesn't care what it is.
Like, honestly, I was fine with doing the last test. Like, whatever. It hasn't been that bad.
Well, it hasn't been, that bad for us. I really wish that we had all been able to work together from the beginning of this.
Yeah.
And that... I'm really worried about that other girl. I don't think that she's taking all of this very well. And I feel like if we see her, we need to just, get her in a big bear hug immediately. Mostly just to keep her from running away.
From running, yes.
Maybe a minotaur hug?
And Judah lets out a... Yes, I think that will be in order.
Gotta catch her first.
And if we don't all wake up in the same place, we have to come up with a plan.
I agree. That's a good idea. Yes.
Well, we didn't see each other at all in the first test. How do we know we're going to be anywhere near?
But we were together. Remember?
Last time.
Grawl and I ended up finding you two. We just couldn't find you at first.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the other four were not present, at least immediately around us.
And Valor will sort of look away and remain pointedly silent when you bring up the first test. And Talila will say, "We found each other eventually, though it was a bit of a process. Turns out hell is pretty big."
Yeah.
You were all in hell as well.
Oh,
And
yeah, we've always been in the same places for the
Talila
test.
will look over at Valor, and Valor will slowly nod his head, and Camion will say, "Judah and I were somewhere on the storm wall. I'm not quite sure where."
Grawl and I were on the storm wall too.
Sid and I were in hell.
Yeah.
And Valor will look up at you, Cherish, with just these bright red eyes of his, and say, "Do you know where?"
I'm pretty sure it was Cania.
And he'll look away.
Cherish does too. Can I use Firebolt as like a flare?
I was
Are you
actually
asking us?
I'm asking Mike. This is my cast voice and also my face.
I mean, I have a spell that can cause a giant thunderous boom that can be heard for 300 feet, so...
And in your head, Tirza, you hear Talila's voice saying, "I can also do this."
Just like not a comedy style like jump and freeze. It's just like a slow chill going up Tirza's back, and she just slowly goes ramrod straight.
And Talila, whose face never looked at you, her big, wide eyes will slowly move over to you, and just a big smile will creep across her face.
I'm gonna marry that gnome. Huh.
Her bleach white skin kind of like cracking around her cheeks where her tiny little
dimples.
Little dimples. That's the word.
Oh. Well, I was gonna say something, but now I think Tears is frightened. So.
And Valor will speak up and say, actually, Talila has this ability. She can project words into people's minds. It should be very useful trying to find one another.
Oh, good.
Can we communicate back with her?
And Talila's like big silvery eyes will pan over away from Tirza to Sid and say, yes.
Great. Cool. Okay.
And then she'll pointedly look back at Tirza as she says yes.
Oh, thank God.
And Tirza will, in her mind, say, so you can hear this?
And she'll nod.
Well, we know that works now, so, that seems like a good strategy. Let's never do that again until we're in the test.
Yes, Talila can use the message spell, though, psychically, so it's a little bit more disturbing, because of course it is.
And, yeah. I think, I mean, Mike, you and I didn't talk about if the augur message was telepathic or verbal, but...
It is telepathic.
Okay, so I just had that happen to me, and it was totally fine, and now Talila's just creepy as fuck.
The difference is that sending can be done to anyone, anywhere within a plane of existence. Message has to be really, really close. So, assuming you are relatively nearby, Talila will be able to coordinate everyone.
Okay.
And can I use Firebolt as a flare?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yes. So the long and short of it is that I think somehow we are being physically transported to the astral plane, but also different elemental planes at the same time. And that's my theory, and we need to figure out what's going on.
So
and how are we going to do that while taking
how do we do that?
Well, I'm not sure how we're going to do that until we finish the test, unfortunately, because it seems we can only communicate with the Skein Witch after those are finished.
Do you think she'll really help us? She hasn't been very forthcoming.
That's true. But
maybe because this is
like
the
I
last
said,
test.
This is the last test, and from what I've been able to gather, it seems that she's more of an observer than anything else. So I'm not 100% sure if she can. There's really not a whole lot of information.
And Judah will look over at Grawl and say, you've been markedly silent through all of this, friend. This test affects you as well as the rest of us.
Grawl's not, particularly worried about the test because, I don't know, he's just doing what needs to be done, whether that's passing the test and getting through it, or confronting the Skein Witch and fighting her or what have you, because it's what needs to be done. Either way, stuff's going to get done and he's going to make sure it happens.
Does Grawl
so-
convey this to the group?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase that. I don't. Besides saying you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, he doesn't say that.
You know, in his New York accent that Grawl has.
Yeah, it's weird.
Just as
Grawl-
for my own personal edification, if you had to pick an accent for the Hobgoblins, what would it be?
An accent?
If you had
Mhm.
to pick one.
Oh God.
Or is it just
I don't
gruff
know.
talking?
Wow, I haven't thought about an accent. Well, because
You don't need to talk in an accent because you're a horrible outcast.
Mhm.
yeah.
Maybe like a rough Cockney.
Mm,
We're all hobgoblins
blimey,
here.
mate.
Come on, me.
no. I'd like to think they have some sort of like the military leaders are more like aristocratic, and so they sound a lot more like
It's
Or
Lord of the
much
Rings.
more
It's
arty-
Middle Earth.
yeah,
Okay.
it's Middle Earth. So like the ones who are important sound better. The ones who suck sound like idiots. They don't know their words too goods. Yeah, so, which is why Grawl wanted to learn to read so much. Anyways, Grawl kind of does the whole scale thing with his hands, weighing the two sides, and he shrugs, and he doesn't care. He just wants to fight and be better.
And Judah shrugs as well and says, "That's one way to go about it." And Camion nods and says, "I can respect that." And Valor looks at you and just shakes his head and says, "You're just going to let this roll over you? This could mean the fate of the whole valley. And you're just going to shrug and say, whatever?"
He puts down his chicken leg because he was still eating while he shrugged.
And Talila goes, "Oh."
Yeah. Grawl will look at him and just say,
And Valor's kind of like puffed up a little bit. He's maybe compensating for some emotional distress that talking about the first trial put him under.
yeah, Grawl just is gonna sit up instead of his like hunched like over his plate eating kind of thing. He's gonna sit up straight and just say, what happens is what happens. Everything's gonna be fine, and those who don't make it out didn't deserve to make it out.
And Valor will push back suddenly from the table, knocking his chair over and storm away. And Judah will hold up a hand and say, "Let him go."
Did you have any questions?
And Valor storms upstairs.
Go ask him later. Anybody else have any questions? Or are we just going to keep being mean to each other for no reason?
I go back to eating my chicken.
And Talila says, "Ah."
I toss her another bone.
She grabs it and squirrels it away into her backpack.
How many
And-
chicken legs do you have?
There's at least 7.
Okay.
They're not big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Camion goes over your chart again, looking at some of the notations you've made and looking over your notes, and seems to agree, though they're of the opinion that it is the Skein Witch doing all of this, because it is the incursion of a power, and that it is the old mage who is keeping whatever is happening away via her magic, and the Skein Witch has somehow found a loophole in that. That's his belief.
Yeah.
Their belief.
And I, depending on how far away, because I'm guessing that they to get up and come and look at the chart, like stand next to me.
And
Yeah,
as they're doing so,
I-
they've turned back to spring.
Yeah, and I'm imagining that we have a very heated whisper conversation. Like, I'm still trying to, convince them that, that if we just kill the Skein Witch, something worse could happen. I'm using actual terms that I'm supposed to be keeping secret. We're
Right.
definitely having a very pointed argument.
Yeah, absolutely.
All stage whispers.
Yes.
So, that passes on to the night, and the rest of you not really sure what to do. All you know is that in the next 4 days, the Maker Festival will pass, and on the fifth and final day of the festival, your fourth and final trial will occur. The Trial of Earth, presumably, though with the Deck of Many Things, perhaps you have an ace in the hole where the trial is concerned.
Mike, is there time for me to, talk to Valor?
Yeah, absolutely. You have 4 days.
Yeah, I just want to check in with him.
And honestly, the 8 of you are probably holed up in the Rose and Thorn, or not the Rose and Thorn, but the Wandering Rose for a chunk of that time, because when you go out into the streets, you are mobbed.
Yeah.
Oh, Grawl. Do you...
Mouthful of chicken.
No, not. I'm not asking
Still.
Still.
Oh,
It's just constantly full of chicken.
it's the character trait.
Cherished, I think, offers to make you something to, hold the pearl in, like a piece of tasteful jewelry, just so you don't, lose it.
Got it. Yeah, some sort of, like a strap or whatever. It's going to go on the pommel of my,
Oh, okay, I was like
sword.
a choker?
Yes, a
weird.
really nice choker. Yeah, like some sort of leather strap with a claw that reaches around it.
Yeah.
And that's going to get fastened to my sword.
Okay.
So, Sid, maybe within the next day or so, you see Valor sitting alone downstairs in the Wandering Rose, nursing a mug of ale, sort of sitting by the fire, staring, his red eyes reflecting the firelight in strange ways.
I sit down.
Again, I don't know if I've ever necessarily fully described Valor. He is built a lot like Sid, sort of this lithe, wiry muscle about him. He's got this charcoal gray-black skin with bright red eyes, and very, very classic, just little pointy devil horns coming up over his brow. Like, of the tieflings you've seen, he definitely has some of the smallest horns.
That's okay. That's how you use those horns. And I'm going to sit down next to him.
And as you do, you can see that his hand is sort of reflexively clenching and unclenching, and you can see a small kindled flame in between his fingers that is appearing and disappearing. But as you sit down and make a bit of sound, he looks up at you and will clench his fist, and the flame will disappear.
What you thinking about?
And he says, "Hell."
Like, specifically where we were?
Perhaps. You were in Kenya, yes? It is a bit of an icy place.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's not where I was.
Where were you?
Somewhere else.
Is it something you can talk about?
I'd rather not.
Yeah, I get that. My first trial was pretty rough, too.
I think it was for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely my least favorite one.
I would tend to agree.
I saw people I lost.
And Valor will nod and say, I did as well.
Yeah. I feel like every other trial, fighting giants, taking out fish cults,
that's easy.
like all of that. That's easy. That's nothing. That's just...
It's what heroes do.
Honestly, my life has been pretty tough up to this point. So when I'm fighting a giant,
the world becomes simple. It becomes very direct.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, when just the thought of having to do another test like that first one, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that again.
Valor will just, his eyes have never left the fire, and he will say, I know for a fact that I could not. If not for Talila, I would not have made it out of that first test.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have made it without Cherish. I never thanked her for that, but maybe I will someday. I don't know.
I have thanked Talila, but I couldn't tell you if she knew what I was thanking her for.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I don't know if anyone's ever thanked her before.
If they have, it was for the sweet release of death.
You're like, I didn't need that bone. It's fine. I don't need that leg.
Sort of lean back and smile a little bit, and he'll finally look over at you.
Yeah. If you ever need to talk, I always like to listen. So let me know.
Let's survive the next trial, and then we'll see about talking.
Yeah. Piece of cake. And I get up, and I leave.
The next couple of days, Valor seems like they're in a slightly better mood than they were before. Though still very intent on the trial ahead.
Yeah.
Anything else anyone would like to accomplish within the next few days before the trial? Before perhaps the last trial?
Where we all die.
That's sort of the mood that's going around as you get closer and closer, is that you've all had close calls in these trials, emotionally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that they have been getting progressively more dangerous as you've gone on. Even if the first one was the most emotionally disturbing, the last one was the one where everyone got closest to death's door.
Yeah.
And so the mood is rather grim as the 5th and final day of the Maker Festival approaches.
Yeah, Cherish is very, towing the line between being very nervous about just wanting, she has literally, planned and as much as she can and, given everybody as much information as she has. Well, more or less. So, there's nothing she can do, but she's, so anxious about the next test, but also, trying to be really positive and, just trying to keep the mood up, which I have no experience with, personally.
And Judah is doing a lot of the same, though in a bit more subtle ways. He will move about the place and ask if anyone needs anything constantly. He'll get people food and drink and make sure that they're getting sleep.
You said we spent a lot of time holed up in the Wandering Rose, but I think Tirza actually probably leaves maybe the most out of everybody. And is if they all die, I think she wants to have been out in Stormhaven and been with as many people as possible and done as much as possible to feel needed and to feel purposeful. So I think she'll actually be gone for long stretches of time.
The only big thing that occurs, I think, is that on the 4th day of the Maker Festival, Netta will take you aside at some point. She's been conspicuously absent her face isn't known in the city like yours is, so she can come and go a bit easier. She's been helping get supplies for the Wandering Rose. And on the 4th day, she will take you aside, though. And her attitude as she brings you to one side is disturbingly similar to how she was acting 2 years ago, just before she sort of spilled her guts about why she was intercepting your mail.
Mm-hmm.
And she will just place a giant gauntleted hand on your shoulder and say, I just want you to know that it doesn't matter what happens. I am proud of you.
Everything I've done, everything I've been, I've been trying to make you proud. We don't agree necessarily about serving others and being dutiful, but you taught me what duty was and what honor was and what strength is. And whatever happens, thank you for that.
And she will take a knee, and even then she's still just about as tall as Tirza, and will say, and you taught me that my pain does not have to be the pain of anyone else. That it is something I must bear and not place on the shoulders of others. So thank you for that. A valuable lesson indeed.
I wrap my arms around her. We're hugging now.
And she, gives you the awkward back pat as, she's not used to this sort of thing.
Yay.
Grawl?
How much do health potions cost?
You can buy plenty of health potions. How many health potions do you want?
How many party members? 8 total?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How much would 2 cost each?
100 gold.
Great.
Per person.
Oh, 100 gold per person. Okay.
Yeah.
Girl, I bought 4 potions.
Oh, okay. Can I have some of yours so I don't have to spend as much money?
Yes, they are on reserve, so...
Okay. Well, Gral's going to buy health potions for... So, 1 apiece would be 50 gold?
Yes.
Okay,
A regular health potion costs 50 gold, so...
Okay, well, I don't remember how much gold I had before the 725.
Probably not a ton.
No, I'm guessing, yeah, it was probably somewhere around 800, but, yeah, I don't have to buy anything for Cherish, so...
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna spend 700 gold and buy as many people's health potions as possible.
Aww.
I also have a greater healing potion, so
Great,
I might be
okay.
good.
Yeah, that's perfect. That'll leave me with 25 gold. Yeah.
On the night before the 5th day, you have distributed the healing potions, 1 apiece to everyone who needed them, and they are taken with gratitude, perhaps a little bit of confusion, as you remain stoically silent for most of the Maker Festival, and then just near the last day, just hand out healing potions to everybody.
And I'm assuming you just shove them into her hands away.
It's the whole, like I hold it out to drop it in your hand, and I just stand there and wait until you put your hand out. And I put it in your hand and walk away. I mean, y'all can infer what it's for.
Yeah,
so.
yep.
But as twilight comes on the 4th day of the Maker Festival, you see a brown-green moth flicker through the common room just in front of your eyes. You track it slowly as it flutters across the room ignoring candle flames and the fireplace, and it moves back and away towards the swinging doors that lead into the kitchen. And on a quick flap, as Angus the Ill-Tempered moves through, you see it whisk away into the kitchen. What do you do?
I'm gonna follow it. There's probably more chicken in there.
Okay. Heading into the kitchen, you push through the swinging door, and you find yourself in a black void.
Oh, lovely.
Your
What a
feet
kitchen.
echo on what feel like stone-worked floors. You can feel the cobblestones, slabs of stone beneath your feet, even though you can't see it. You can feel the pressure of some kind of construct around you. It's like walking through a room in the dark, and you know there's furniture there. You can almost feel it just beyond your fingertips and your skin, but you can't see it. You don't know for sure until you run face first into it.
So I'm sure it's all like, shin and knee height, so I'm bumping into things. And...
You're not bumping into anything.
Almost?
You just feel that there should be stuff around you, but there isn't.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
black and void with this unsettling feeling running past you. And ahead you see that green-brown flapping moth disappear into blackness.
I guess we'll go after the moth to a certain degree. I'm not picking up my pace or anything.
As it disappears, two pairs of huge, bulbous green lights appear in the darkness just in front of you.
Okay.
They appear to be eyes, huge and swollen, deep set in this pit of a face that is only outlined by the glow of the eyes themselves. It appears to be a hooded, shrouded figure standing in the distance just beyond whatever light is being cast to illuminate you. Because as you look down, you can see yourself offset against the darkness, but nothing else. And then this figure, perhaps 30 feet in front of you, it's difficult to tell.
We'll keep approaching.
It always seems to be 30 feet away, even as you approach.
Great.
And
Upon that realization, out comes the sword, but it's not like drawn in like for like confrontation. It's just out.
and as you draw it, there's this dry, rasping
Oh, that's so unsettling.
and there's like this soft rustling sound all around you. It seems to fill the air, like the subtle shimmy of 1,000 moths just beyond what you can see. Or perhaps the rustle of pages within a book. And a voice from the darkness will say, "You have the right idea, Groll. When the time comes, you must strike."
Groll looks down at his sword.
And the voice
And then-
will say, "Yes."
Looking back up at the silhouette kind of thing. Is it more like backlit?
It's weirdly frontlit. Again, the only light that illuminates this thing is its glowing green eyes. They seem to be way bigger than a person's eyes should be.
Has Groll deduced that like this is that like that's his sword, or like upon receiving the sword, has Groll figured anything out, or is this just like a he doesn't know what's really going on?
You don't know what's really going on. You know the moths have been weird portents throughout this journey, and that they now have led you to this figure in darkness. That when you look back up away from the sword, the figure is gone, but you can feel that rustling moving around you. And a hand. And when I say hand, you feel 3 skeletally thin digits place themselves on your shoulder. And looking to the side, you can see this weird, scabrous brown flesh tipped with green claws. And a voice behind you saying, "Grant me knowledge, Graal, and you will have power." Good. And when you say good, you find yourself standing in the kitchen, glancing down at your sword.
Is there chicken nearby?
There is a very surly dwarf with a plate of chicken looking at you rather strangely, but you really don't pay any attention to him as you see these green, lightly glowing, very dimly glowing scratches appear on the blade of your sword.
Are they like lines, or they look to be some sort of like etchings?
Like an etching, as though a rune is attempting to draw itself, but it only manages to make 2 lines.
Do I recognize this at all?
It's just 2 little cuts on the base of the blade right next to the hilt.
Okay.
Though you can see, even as you watch, the glowing doesn't fade. It's so light as to be almost unnoticeable, but as you stare at just the blade just above the hilt, the green glowing doesn't go away.
Lovely. Well, this is awkward being in the kitchen.
And the dwarf, Angus the Ill-Tempered, will say, "I'll say. Customers are to stay in the outside place, and the employees are supposed to be in the inside place. You're not supposed to be back here."
You are correct, and I turn around and leave.
So, unless there is anything else anyone would like to accomplish before the 5th day of the Maker Festival, I think that is where we'll take our break.
Cherish writes a really heartfelt letter to Jet.
Okay.
Aww. Adorable.
Somewhere in the Drylands, Jet will look up at the stars and say, "I hope she's okay."
Somewhere out there.
So on that note, I believe we will take our break.
Woo!
And when we return, we shall get to the 4th trial of the Skein Witch.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Dun dun.
Greetings, my friends. Omatep the Squawker. Do you hear that? That doesn't sound normal, does it? What is happening? I don't even... It's like a ringing sound, and I can barely even... Hello? Hello? No, I have some heals for you. If you could just please stop and listen. Threadless. They are outside the weave, removed from the tangle, and thus immune to its corruption. I can show them probability and possibility, but their future is their own to create. My trials will prepare them for what is to come. The children of Io, the elemental quartz, the outer storm. If they survive, their actions will determine the fate of the prime material. Pray to whatever gods remain. The final trial begins. And welcome back to Material Components. When we last left our heroes, they were slowly whiling away the days until their final trial of the Skein Witch, having some interpersonal reactions with the other Threadless, and perhaps confronting the things that are the source of their power, fear. Who knows?
Crazy uncle.
Either
Twice
way,
removed.
we need to start things off by having Cherish roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, fun.
This bodes well. Very well. Let's punch some stuff. Do.
10.
10. Okay. So, you all awake in a familiar fashion. Not in the place where you fell asleep, but in some strange other location that you abruptly find yourselves in. Each of you stands atop a single plateau, spread out over a few hundred feet. You can
Whoa.
all see each other in the distance over this little swath, but you are all separated by at least 20 feet of empty air between each of these stone plateaus. This landscape is a familiar one to several of you, as large swaths of the drylands are made up of these red, rocky mesas. Beneath you, what looks like an ocean of blood roils between the plateaus, droplets of it occasionally slurping upwards into the sky in some kind of bizarre crimson reverse rain. The sky above you is a patchwork of sky blues, dark bloody reds, and that blue-gray sheen that covers the world when you're in the in-between place that you will usually only see at the end of these trials. Small fragments of the plateaus in which you stand are also these strange patches of blue-gray sheen. And as you look, the strange blood ocean beneath you has these glitchy moments where it turns that dull blue-gray, and then it'll resume its red roiling as little globs of it will float upwards into the air, eventually just dispersing into a fine red mist that hangs about your knees. As you all stand there, abruptly sort of taking in this horrific surrounding, you can see that on the plateaus around you, strange, what look like clay figures are in mid-motion coming up out of the plateaus. In a half step, they will appear to be hobgoblins, and then collapse down into just blocks of earth and dirt, as though they gain the form they were supposed to, that they're programmed to, and then lose cohesion and fall apart.
Wow.
How wide did you say the plateaus are?
Each of the plateaus is maybe only 10 to 15 feet wide, and you are all spread out over a 100-foot sort of roughly circular area.
Right. And it's all 8 of us, or just the 4 of us?
There are 9 plateaus.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
no.
the 9th threadless woman.
Oh, no.
You see Camion, Judah, Valor, and Talila, as well as the woman. The other 4 who you've come to know are getting up groggily, looking around, making distant eye contact with all of you, and in some cases, smiling a little too long, Tirza, as Talila makes eye contact with you.
Of course.
But this ninth person who sort of sits at roughly the center of all of you. It's not in a perfect circle or anything, but you're all clustered roughly around her plateau. She sits cross-legged in an almost meditative state, her eyes closed, and you can see these rough, barbed chains wrapped around her arms.
Whoa. The rest of us don't have those?
No.
Like she's chained,
No. It's as though she is sitting in sort of a lotus position, her legs crossed, her arms at her side, and up and down each of her arms is this pokey chain that seems to almost be digging into her flesh. Almost sort of like Judah's monk wraps that he wears around his forearms, but black and metal. Everyone give me a perception check.
Oh, where did it go?
Shit. I got an 8.
15.
14.
16.
16 for Tirza, 15 for Grawl?
Yep.
Okay, so those are two highest, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So the
I got 14. I don't know if that matters. Okay.
Grawl and Tirza, you are both in a position to see the front of this woman, and you can see that she has a low-cut shirt that reveals most of her chest. She doesn't have much cleavage to speak of, but in the center of her chest is that 3-toed burn mark seared into her flesh.
Oh, not good. Not good.
And as you're all sort of getting up and rising up, a couple of you shouting out to each other, her eyes will open, and she'll make swift eye contact with Grawl. And she'll just, her face is just this dull blank, almost robotic. And then when she looks at Grawl, she'll look over to Tirza, then she'll look over to Talila and Valor, then she'll stand up and glance around at the rest of you, and she'll nod.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Finishing this.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
I would think that would be clear by now.
It's not. I have no idea what's happening.
And without looking at him, she will raise an arm and point towards Camion.
Okay.
And she will say, "That one has the key to stopping all of this."
Camion, what is she talking about?
And Camion will sort of look almost like a little scared, backing up a little bit and clutching at something near their waist.
What's our setup?
So you're roughly in an odd oval pattern of these mesas. They're about 15 to 10 feet wide, and each of you are separated by about 20 to 25 feet. So the whole spread is roughly 100 feet wide.
Yeah, but who's on what
so
plateau?
in front of where she was sitting is Grawl, Tirza, Talila, and Valor, and you, Judah, Camion, and Sid are on the opposite.
Right.
Or what were behind her.
Who am I next to?
You are roughly next to Sid, Judah, and Camion.
How far away am I from Camion?
About 20 feet.
Okay.
And there's an empty void in that 20 feet.
Yeah, that's neat. I cast gaseous form.
Okay.
So I am a misty cloud.
All right.
And my speed is reduced to 10 feet.
Mm-hmm.
But I make that 20-foot distance to Camion's plateau.
How long does gaseous form last?
An hour.
Okay. Or until you dismiss it, I assume?
Or until I dispel it, yeah.
Yeah, you float on over. And again, on each of your plateaus, those weird dirt stone figures are always trying to form themselves into the shapes of hobgoblins, and as soon as they assume form and color and shape and movement, they then collapse back down into dirt and stone.
Mm-hmm.
And as you just reassume physical shape in front of Camion, he will draw back from you, his loose woodsman's axe sort of resting in their hand.
Camion, just take it easy. I'm not here to hurt you. In fact, like, if she tries anything, I kind of wanted to be over here to, like, help or whatever. But what's going on?
And Camion will stare you dead in the eyes, their skin this bright gold, their hair a golden sheen, as they turn to Summer and say, I will do what must be done.
What's her part in this?
And Camion will just shrug and say, I don't know.
Neat! I cast Dispel Magic.
On?
I don't know. I'm mad.
Just in general.
Whatever magical effect is holding us here.
Do you?
We all explode.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Let me look up something real quick.
Yeah. I mean, if
This could be
it's a fourth level spell or higher, I do have to make an ability check.
You're gonna
So
have to make an
I
ability check.
I know
Yeah, I
that.
would
I
imagine
know
so.
this.
Yeah.
It's a 67th level spell. Prepare yourself.
Yeah, just choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range. Okay. Give me a spellcasting ability check.
It's the DC is what it says on my spell card is 10 plus the spell's level.
That is correct.
Okay. And I'm adding my charisma modifier to that?
You are rolling and adding your charisma modifier, because that is your spellcasting ability, yes?
My spellcasting ability modifier?
Yes, so your spellcasting ability modifier is just whatever your primary spellcasting attribute is.
Plus my proficiency bonus.
No. For this, it is just the ability.
Oh no, that's my spell attack modifier. My
Yeah.
bad. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? 12.
Okay. So the dispel magic goes off, and you feel these strange threads weaving through the air around you as you target something enormous, something gigantic, something that consumes your whole arcane sensibility. You've slowly begun to work out how to feel out the weave of magic around you, and this is how you're able to detect a magical effect that you can target with dispel magic. With more training, perhaps the use of your Arcana skill will help you almost sense magic around you in a way. But right now, you sense that the magic around you is in chaos, and it's all centered around Camion. Your spell has no effect, but you can tell that whatever spell is happening here, it is sort of in this weird circular motion circling Camion.
That's weird.
Okay. I kind of take a step back a little bit, like... Camion, I don't want to have to fight you, specifically.
And they will grip their axe and say, no, you don't.
Then tell me what's going on.
I'm going to finish this, and you're not going to stop me.
Why is everyone so vague?
Yeah.
I will do what needs to be done to destroy the Skein Witch. I will save the valley, as we all should be working towards.
Camion, what needs to be done?
Cherish, give me an insight check.
Did he take the deck? That fucker. Did they take the deck? That fucker. $15.
You look down to your belt where the Deck of Many Things has been riding these past few months, and you find a distinct absence. And glancing back over at Camion, you can see that their offhand is clutching the Deck of Many Things riding at their belt. And they will look down at it and look back up at you and say, I will do what must be done.
I put myself out there. I show you a presentation. Did it mean nothing?
It showed me a lack of resolve.
If anything, I think it shows dedication. What were you doing to fix this in the 6 months that we had before doing the other stuff?
Camion will attempt to cast a spell.
Great. Whatever. Fine. This is what happens when you try to trust people. So.
Yep.
Camion will cast Jump on themselves to triple their jump range.
No.
And then we'll leap over to, let's see who was closest, Judah's plateau. What is everyone else doing?
I mean, I
Get
don't know what I can do.
here! I'm not done being mad at you!
Wish I
I
had.
don't even know. Like,
You said it was like 20, 25 feet in between.
Each
Tirza
plateau, yeah.
has a javelin out just because she doesn't know what's going on.
I don't even know what I would do. I don't think I have any way to get off my platform.
So you all heard this essentially shouting conversation happening between the two of them, and then
Yeah.
you see Camion effortlessly leaping between these plateaus.
Alright, Camion.
Tirza has drawn a javelin in preparation. Grawl, Sid, what are you doing?
For something.
My sword's drawn. I'm ready to fight something.
Yeah,
How far
Grawl.
away- How far away is the plateau from? It's on the other side, isn't it?
Yes. You are probably 60 feet away from the plateau that Camion just leapt to.
Yeah. That would take so much effort. It would take so many spell slots. I could do it though.
You know what? Let's play a game to see if we can get you closer. I'm going to I have an explorer pack. I'm gonna pull a rope out and tie it around the end of a javelin. I'm gonna toss it to you.
Who are you tossing it to?
Grawl.
Okay.
Get over here, buddy.
How's
Give-
that getting me closer to?
I'm closer to Judah, I believe. If I have
Yes.
Okay. All right then.
let's go, let's see if this works.
You
Do
wouldn't
I
kill
have
me when I die instantly.
Give me an
Yeah.
attack roll.
Yep.
Basically, just don't botch.
I was so close. I got a 6.
Oh.
That's good. So, what does that make your total?
So, no, I got a 6
Oh.
total. I got a 2. I rolled a 2.
Your plus 2 attack is only plus 3?
Plus 4.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, alright. So yeah, that lands and embeds itself in the ground next to Grawl.
Does it look safe?
No.
No.
There's a
What they
javelin
do.
sticking in the ground, and then a rope just sort of lightly draping between these
And then
mesas.
Tears on the other end, holding
Okay,
it.
I was it 16-year-old?
Yes.
Yeah, but
16-year-old is good.
I'm the buffest of all of us.
I mean, maybe.
That was a joke. That was a joke I made earlier. I don't know if that's true or not.
Worst case scenario, you just have to hold on to the rope if I drop
And
it.
fall back to my own spot where I was already at. Yeah, good that.
If you don't want to do this, you don't have to, man.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna pound the javelin down deeper into the stone first before I come
Probably a
over.
good call, yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you might want to do is find a way to fasten to another javelin and then pull it back and fasten it into your side.
Grawl, if you
So
could
I
give
don't
me an
die.
athletics check.
Oh, good. You know that thing I'm good at.
Mhm.
Oh, 20.
All right.
Oh,
now,
20.
nice.
you are really confident that you have set this stake into the ground.
Okay.
Oh, that wasn't even getting across. Okay.
No.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No,
I just-
I'm.
That's the first
I'm.
one.
I think
Yeah.
that's my athletics check.
No, that is
Oh.
Grawl's acrobatics check.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alrighty.
Wait. It's not my strength check because I'm holding it.
We'll get there. We'll see how this
Okay, good.
acrobatics check goes first.
I shouldn't have eaten so much chicken.
I'm all bloated
okay.
from the chicken.
You got
Yeah,
the chicken runs.
Ugh. I didn't think I'd think about that movie.
All right, ladies, I need you to stick your head between your legs and kiss your bum goodbye.
That's what Rob's going to be doing shortly, as he falls into an ocean of blood.
It's not real.
It's
Yep.
spooky. Okay, so you're gonna hold it.
Yeah,
You're gonna.
I'm
support my
I'm
full
rough
weight.
and tough. I'm rough
My
and tough,
full
and I
weight.
have -1 intelligence.
Well, then great. Yeah, no, I believe you then. This is acrobatics, you said?
Yes, indeed.
Lovely. 13.
Cool. So, you are traipsing across this rather thin rope, trying to counter your balance with this huge, great sword.
I'm doing the spider crawl across.
Oh, even better. Okay.
Yeah.
So, beneath you, these globules of blood are rising up from the ocean of crimson and slowly dissipating into mist that you're now wandering through. And as you move through it, there's no sensation to moving through this red mist. It's as though you're moving through nothing. It doesn't feel like anything. And you eventually make your way over to the other side, and because you pounded the stake in so good, the DC was lowered for this check, so you make it across no problem.
Thank you.
Nice.
That's good.
I also use the gauntlet and call the javelin back to my hand.
Yeah. And the,
Can I get it even though it's embedded in rock?
oh yeah, magic
Oh,
gauntlet,
fuck
yo.
yeah.
Magic son.
Awesome.
Magic.
Cool.
It wiggles out just right.
Sid, Cherish, are you doing anything while this is all transpiring?
I'm cheering them
I'm
on.
in- I'm
Beside
assuming-
myself.
I mean, and I'm assuming this is like Camion leaps to Judah, and this happens like quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
We both had the moment where we look at each other and both nod at the same time, and you chuck the javelin. And I was like, "That's not what I was thinking. I was going to use Misty Step."
Well, now you're closer.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what Cherish would do. Like, she's very angry and very upset.
Is Camion just on Judah's mesa? Is he not doing anything?
Camion, well, I mean, all of this is happening really, really quickly. So
Yeah.
Camion has skirted to the ground next to Judah, and Judah is sort of in a similar position to Sid, as just like, I don't know what to do. What's happening here?
Yeah.
At which point Camion will keep running and leap again towards the nameless woman's central plateau.
Ah, shit.
Yep.
How far are we from that plateau?
Roughly 20 feet.
Wish I could do something. Can I pull out Storm Piercer and ask it, "Hey, buddy, anything I can do here? I feel kind of useless."
You must find the honorable fight, Sid.
I think it's over there. How do I get there?
Looks like you must also make a leap of faith.
Oh God.
Do you trust me?
Yeah, let's do this thing. All right, we got it.
Aladdin this shit.
All right, okay. I'm going to try a leap of faith here. And I'm going to use my ability. I get advantage on a dexterity check. So I'm
Acrobatics specifically.
Yes, specifically acrobatics.
Okay,
This is gonna be so bomb. Whatever happens.
Sorry, there's a thing's happening outside. Anyways, okay. That's gonna be 26.
Excellent. So, Sid backs up to the edge of his plateau, looks down at his sword, has this brief conversation, shakes his head, and then just starts into a dead sprint. And at the last moment, another of those strange stone clay hobgoblins is rising up out of the ground. You plant a foot on its knee and a foot on its shoulder and do a front flip out into the open air. And you're just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it. And then you're about 15 feet across when you start descending.
This was a bad idea!
And Stormpiercer will say, nonsense, and begin crackling with white lightning.
Oh, shit.
And there will be a... Sid,
Yes.
which plateau would you like to go to?
I'd like to go to the center one.
Okay. A
With
bolt
Carrion.
of lightning appears in the air where Sid and Stormpiercer were. And there's a Back to the Future moment as the air behind them becomes a flame and they just appear in the center plateau.
Hell
Little
yeah.
bursts of static appearing around your shoulders and heels.
Is there like a trail of fire from like behind both of my feet?
No, there's 2 tire tracks.
Strangely, I'm 2 tire tracks.
And Stormpiercer will say, have faith, boy.
Okay. I'd like to get in between Camion and the woman.
And Cambion, seeing this happen with just like wide eyes, clearly they didn't know you could do this. And clearly you
That
didn't
makes
either.
2 of us.
Yeah.
Camion will like turn heel and begin about to make a bound towards Talila's plateau.
Okay.
Do you do anything?
Can I try and grab the deck of many things from him?
You can
Right.
try.
Okay. What would that be?
Had a Star Wars moment.
I think this is some kind of attack roll with just like
Yeah.
a outstretched hand.
Okay.
I'm just trying to decide whether it's strength or dexterity. I think it's dexterity.
Yeah, because it's very like specifically targeting an area.
Mm-hmm.
What? So would I just add my dexterity modifier to that?
Yes.
We don't want to add sleight of hand to that.
You know what? Yeah, give me a sleight of hand.
Okay. that's much
Sid
better.
has trained through most of his grown life on the streets of Stormhaven to take what does not want to be taken from the belts of rich assholes. This is the penultimate moment of having to snatch something off somebody's belt.
Well, it's not great. It's that would be No. That'd be 11. I got 11.
11. Oh, Camion got a 12 to dodge this.
Oh no!
Damn.
Your fingers brush the outside case
Oh,
of the deck of many
no.
things
Oh,
as they make a leap and land, heels skittering across the dirt on
Guys, I rolled a
Talilah's
2.
plateau.
I rolled a 2. I'm so mad.
Grawl, what are you doing once you scramble up onto Tirza's mesa? And Cherish, are you doing anything else?
Well, Grull definitely looks at his sword, thinking, "What do? You do that too? Do I turn into moss when I throw you, or what? How? Yeah. So he's just looking at a sword for a half second. How far away is Talilah's platform?
From Tirza's, it is about, 40 feet. You'd have to bound over Valor's to get to her.
Yeah. Cherish can do something while I'm thinking.
So then I'm like mega far from Talilah's plateau, yeah?
Yeah, basically, Camion has bounded all the way across at this point. Opposite
Yeah.
where he was, or where they were originally.
Okay, I am going to spend all 5 of the sorcery points that I have, the normal ones,
Mm-hmm.
to get a 3rd level spell slot back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to cast gaseous form again.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna start making my way towards wherever Camion's gonna go.
Slowly creeping across
Yeah,
the
just
mesas.
the angriest cloud of mist you've ever seen.
Is it like a purple mist with some flecks
Yes.
of gold in there?
Yes.
To stay in the character. Yeah.
And it's mad.
It
I
has
cannot
eyebrows.
stress this enough.
It's a little storm cloud.
Yes.
And
Oh.
inside your mind, Maz says, "There was an easier solution to this girl. Simply make him burn."
I can't throw the fireball beads that far.
Tirza, Grawl.
Bitch.
Yep. Yes,
I'm researching a thing very quickly.
Okay. In the meantime, Grawl.
I can't.
You got Missy Step, right?
Yeah, but it only goes 30 feet.
Mhm.
I need to cover 40 feet, and I don't want to use it twice because then all my spell slots gone.
Can you jump 10 feet and then Misty Step 30 feet?
Can I do that?
You would be jumping out into open air to angle it
And
properly.
then- And then hoping. All right, good.
So, yes, you could totally do that.
Is
That's
that an?
very cool.
Do I have to roll for that, or is this just gonna happen?
You would have to
Probably-
roll me an athletics check to get enough distance in your jump.
Just let it, you know.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Okay, fine. This is to Talilah's platform.
Yes.
Okay. What does she have?
What does Talila
Okay.
have?
Yeah, like why is he going to Talilah now?
I think
Was
he's
he
just
just
escaping me.
Just away from Sid, yeah.
That's fair. I get it.
But I don't know. Okay, here we go. That's
Yes.
an 8.
It's an
That's
eight.
an 8.
Okay.
Tirza. Grawl charges forward, leaping off of the mesa. At the last minute, you see him descend below the plane of your sight, and then there's this horrible, sucking sound, and this rush of green-brown moths go surging upwards, almost to the edge of Talilah's mesa, but reforming just below the lip of it. Grawl,
Oh.
I need you to give me a dexterity saving throw to grab onto the rocks.
Good.
8.
You go plummeting downward
Oh, no.
into...
Great, saving face.
What is saving face do?
Saving face, I get to add +1 for every person that I can see in a 30-foot, within 30 feet? 30 feet saving face?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's a hobgoblin thing. That's your...
I know. I'm bringing it up. Yes. Saving face. Hobgoblins are careful not to show weakness. Or fail an ability check or saving throw. You can gain a bonus to the roll equal to the number of allies you can see within 30 feet with you. Maximum bonus of 5.
Okay. So, you can get a... Let's see. +3 to this roll.
Okay.
So that makes it 11.
Yeah.
All right. You smash into the side of the mesa, and your claw, like long black hobgoblin nails go digging into the dirt as you scrape down the edge of this thing. You find yourself 20 feet below the lip of the mesa.
Ooh.
Your feet just above the strange blood ocean.
Oh.
That went well.
Could have gone worse.
Tirza.
Well, I'm really mad that none of the mounts have a jumping distance of 20 feet because I was going to prove you wrong.
Please look at the casting time of Find Steed. And?
Instantaneous. Wait, no, casting time 10 minutes. We have time. Camion's jumping around everywhere. It'll be fine.
We're good.
Camion is on Talilah's mesa, which is 40 feet away from me.
Yes.
What are the rules on non-lethal attacks?
You have to declare that the damage you're about to do is non-lethal, and essentially you're going for the knockout, not necessarily the kill.
You guys, I'm the punchy one. I don't know what else to do. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna non-lethal Camion.
What are you attacking
Hitting
with?
friends with things. Javelin.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
Don't screw this up and hit me. Please.
Booyah, 21.
21 is going to be a hit, yes. Damage?
Sorry. I don't like this.
And are you throwing a smite behind this, perhaps?
No,
Okay,
I'm not.
then roll me some damage.
Oh, wait. 'Cause non-lethal, that becomes, to become unconscious, I have to get him down to the 0, what
Yes.
his 0 would be. Okay. You know what? F it. Yeah, let's do a smite. I'll cast it. It's fine.
This is a non-lethal fighting.
Go sleep.
It's just like an electric shock.
Sleep.
If I accidentally kill this kid, I'm gonna be A, so mad, and B, just
Murderer.
real sad. Yeah.
Be a murderer.
Uh-huh.
And
Roll me some damage.
And I'm going to cast it as a 2nd level spell.
So you're expending a 2nd level spell slot, Smite. So that makes it 3d8 as opposed to 2.
Yep.
Damn.
Which this probably isn't gonna help, but 9 points of damage.
Total?
Yeah.
What did you roll for the Smite?
Oh, wait. 3d8. Did I roll a d8? Yeah, it's, No, I rolled a oh, I'm so sorry. I rolled a 9 for the might.
Oh,
Fuck, I'm really bad at this. Plus 6. So 15 points of damage.
all right. Camion staggers under this crackling bolt. As I've described before, you hit with the javelin, and then there's this strange lightning rod effect as a storm burst appears from your body and then just jags straight into the place where the javelin hit. Camion will go rigid for a moment, and they will clasp at the javelin that is sticking out of their thigh.
That's a graze.
It's non-lethal damage.
Yeah.
You aimed
Fine.
for the leg, so...
Yeah.
And Talila will get this gleaming look on her face as she'll look between Camion and you, as if interpreting some unsaid word of consent.
Yeah, baby, I got you.
And
Oh,
she
man.
will say to Camion, "Let me look at that for you." And Camion will say, "No, thank you," and leap away to the next plateau over. Which
That doesn't affect his jump at all.
I will roll to see if it does, actually. No.
Oh, okay.
Camion's real good at
I
jumping.
tried.
Especially with the jump skill.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
So.
why they have the jump spell.
Yeah.
So, Camion leaps over to Valor, and Valor will sort of, almost ready for this instance, grab Camion's shoulders before Camion really has time to react. Meanwhile, this angry purple cloud is slowly bubbling towards
Just
them.
following Camion.
No,
I'm coming for you.
It's how it runs towards the spot he's supposed to be, and then as it's like halfway there, he goes to a different one, and he
His moves.
more angry now. Oh man!
Do this for 60 minutes, boy.
And Valor will just sort of, again, grasp at Camion with a pretty good athletics check. Yeah, Valor's athletics is bomb. So, Camion is grappled for the time being, as Valor is saying, "What are you doing? What's going on?" Sid, you are standing in front of the nameless ninth.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at you with that just totally blank face. Again, her arms coated in those weird black chains that seem to be slightly digging into her flesh. They're not drawing blood or anything, but they look a little too tight, wrapped around her skin. The skin in between is this pale white, and the skin right under is this dark blotchy red. And she has that burn mark seared into her chest, that three-toed sigil that you've seen once before, seared into the chest of the fire giant you faced in the second trial.
Right.
I did also tell them about that.
Yeah, the cult.
Yeah.
I ask her, who are you?
And she says, "Lucrezia."
Do you live in Stormhaven? Is that where you're from? Where do you hail from?
I was. I did. I don't anymore.
What does that mean?
The city is not a home for me any longer.
Why are you chained up?
These chains aren't for me.
Who are they for?
Everyone else.
Can I tell if she's human or not?
Give me... Ooh, what would this be?
Insight, maybe?
No.
No.
That's like about intent and
Okay.
emotion. This is... Give me an Arcana roll.
Okay.
I don't want to
I will
ask.
do. Oh, not bad. 14.
As far as you can tell.
Okay.
She has all the attributes of a human. She is a physically messed up human, but a
Sure.
human nonetheless.
I guess I try and free her. Can I do that?
Again, the chains aren't binding her in any way,
they're not binding her.
other
Okay.
than just being wrapped around her arms. From her wrist all the way up to her shoulder is just as though a length of chain on either arm is wound around her arms.
When Camion jumped onto this platform, did it look like he was ready to attack her, or...
No, it looks as though he was just jumping on this platform to make an expedient retreat.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And he's not quite sure who to trust at this point.
Maybe no one.
Can trust these hands.
As they're wrapped around their jugular.
How far away is
Trust
he
these
now?
hands.
Like, how far away is the platform that he's on now?
Camion is only 20 feet away.
Only 20 feet away. Okay.
Again, on another mesa that you'd have to get to.
Yes. I ask Stormpiercer, is that thing that you just did something that you can do? Oh, jeez.
Oh.
So confused.
Okay.
Nope,
Okay.
figured it out.
I look down at Stormpiercer and I ask it, that thing that you did,
Indeed.
is that something you can do again? Can we try that again?
Here and now, perhaps.
Perhaps. You're not really filling me with confidence here, buddy.
It is not about confidence, Sid. It is about faith and doing what is right.
Okay. Well, I believe that stopping Camion from potentially ruining the situation is the right thing. What do you think?
And I think so long as your cause is just, I will support you, my friend.
All right. I'm going to run and jump.
Run and jump.
Run and jump. That was a worse roll. That was, what would that be? 12?
You get about halfway through the air and you realize this time nothing's happening.
Ah, fuck.
And as you say that, you descend past the lip of the mesa. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Join me, friend.
How about we... You guys are not being nice to me. Let's try this one. Better. That's going to be 22.
All right. You manage to get hands on the lip of the mesa, and you're dangling there. Grawl, you're slowly climbing up to the top of Talila's mesa. Cherish, as a boiling purple cloud, you're slowly edging angrily towards... Just this little storm cloud moving across these mesas. Just angry eyebrows over it.
I definitely imagine a fart sound coming from it constantly.
No.
I'm imagining the, Nimbus sound. That's what I'm imagining. But angry.
Tirza, you are not quite sure what to do next.
I'm not.
And as you stare around at your friends all clambering towards this leaping Eladrin, you're staring up at the surroundings, and you see a shining blue-white figure descending from the sky. And
Shit.
all of you hear a whispered voice in your head saying, "What have you done? The weave, the pattern disrupted."
I'm a
Hey,
cloud,
maybe
so I-
maybe you don't want to be here right now. Skein Witch, we're taking care of something.
Can I climb? Can I
And
get onto
I
the
need
platform?
everyone to roll initiative.
Ah, fuck.
This is all Camion's fault.
Yeah. Just playing their
Ooh.
character.
God damn it.
Interesting. So, 25 to 20. Really? Okay. Okay. 15 to 20.
I have 15.
Wow. Okay.
This is gonna be fun.
Is it? I'm still climbing a wall.
10 to 15.
10.
10. What is your dexterity score?
4.
Okay. And I believe that makes you tied with Judah, so I'll just say you go first.
I got 14.
14 for Grawl. And, Cherish,
What happens when you botch initiative?
you go last.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
That's usually my shtick.
I am the slowest purple cloud ever to exist.
The slowest, angriest cloud.
No, I
So-
love that book.
The Skein Witch will blink from where they are about 200 feet into the sky, down to about 120 feet above all of you, hovering above these plateaus. Everyone's attention is suddenly drawn up to this figure in swirling black ribbons of cloth wrapped around this blue-white energy vortex that seems to make up their humanoid body. And their attention seems to be everywhere and nowhere at once, and it will shriek out, "The threads, threadless, always cutting away at the weave, cannot be trusted, must be erased."
That's a bummer.
Yeah, that sucks.
All my thesis work down the drain.
The Skein Witch will stare down, and let's see. Cherish through Grawl is 1 through 4. Talila, Valor, Judah, and Camion are 5 through 8. So I'm going to roll me a d8 and see what we're doing. So 6. Alright. So, a silver-white thread appears from Camion and streaks over to embed itself in Grawl. I need both of you to make wisdom saving throws.
Camion and I?
Yep.
Okay. 16.
Alright, you fail. So, you feel yourself indelibly linked to Camion. You now have, let's see,
Who has damage?
you now currently have 19 hit points left.
Oh no.
That's half of my health.
And it was half of Camion's health.
Hey, buddy.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh
Wait.
no.
Is Grawl... Oh, no, Grawl is no longer on my maze. Kidding.
That brings us to Valor, who...
I went so out of my way to avoid damage.
Yeah, you did, buddy. And you just happened to be the number 4 when I rolled that d8, so... Camion will Valor will release Camion staring up at the witch, drawing out a... Valor will pull out his shield, which you know is his Forgebond item, and then he will reach a hand out into the middle of the air, and a flaming spear will appear in his hand as his fingers wrap around nothing, and this just blazing spear will appear in his hand. And he'll look between Camion and the Skein Witch, not sure what to do. he will hold his action. Camion has the next initiative, and Camion will attempt to persuade Valor to do what must be done. Valor will oppose this. Oh, no.
No! Uh-oh!
Oh.
And Camion will say something low and soft and indicate towards the Skein Witch, and then a just brutal look will cross Valor's face. And it is the same look that, Sid, you saw the night you talked to him by the fire. And he will take a step back, hold his shield just in front of him, take the spear up in a throwing position, and hurl it at the Skein Witch. Whoa, and get a natural 20!
Oh, oh boy.
Oh, boy,
The
indeed.
Skein Witch is instantly dead. We all go home.
Yeah.
And everything's
I guess.
fine. And everything's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Yeah, nothing, clearly.
I beg to differ.
So, that is going to be 13 damage to the Skein Witch.
Just throw a flaming spear at a being you know nothing about. Just do it.
The
whatever.
spear will embed itself in the witch, and Valor will jut a hand up towards the spear, and it will explode in a burst of flame that seems to burn her more, and then it will appear as that flame streaks back into his hand. That brings us to... That was Camion's turn. Tirza, with Sid on deck.
Well, first of all, bonus action, I'm gonna call my javelin out of Camion's leg, or away from Camion's... I hope it hurts.
Yes, they let out a small shriek.
Do I also let out a small shriek?
No, it doesn't actually deal
That
damage.
can-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do feel the pain as something sharp seems to
But
remove
you're
itself
locked-
from your leg.
You're much tougher than Camion, so
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
you don't shriek like a loser.
And I'm also gonna hold my action.
What action
know.
are you holding?
An attack.
Okay. What is the trigger for your attack?
If the Skein Witch goes after any of my fuck. God. Yeah, definitely if the Skein Witch goes after Cherish, Grawl, Sid. You know what? Yeah, the other four I love them, but right now that's what I'm holding my action for.
Okay. That brings us to Sid, with Grawl on deck.
Am I still hanging off the ledge?
You are.
Okay. I'd like to climb up that.
Okay, easy enough. You do.
Yeah.
You are now on Valor and Camion's mesa.
Is Grawl hanging off the same mesa?
Nope.
Or... No. Okay, so I can't. But Camion and
Valor are in front of you.
they are in front of me, and they're both like ready to attack the witch.
It seems that way. Or Valor already has.
Yeah. And there's a thread going from Camion to Grawl. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that? Would I be able to get to that thread?
It's right in front of you. It's
Right
basically
in front of me.
it crosses directly in front of you to connect the two.
Can I try and cut it?
Ooh,
Sure.
Put Stormpiercer in that. Yep.
I don't like how you're smiling though.
That's nice.
Some threads of fate shit, and then fucking snip, and then we just both collapse.
I mean, I don't know.
Why am I a cloud right now?
I know nothing about these things.
Would you care to give me an
I
attack
didn't
roll?
think it was gonna come up.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't say anything about it.
Well, it's not well. I'm rolling really poorly tonight. that's going to be a 10.
All right. I will need you now to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Cool. Ooh. It's better. 15.
15 will not make it.
Damn.
So, you are going, as you try to cut this thread with a mortal weapon, as magical as Stormpiercer is, you are taking 6 psychic damage.
6 psychic damage. Damn. Okay.
Wait a second.
That brings us to Grawl.
Am I still hanging off the edge?
Yes, and you are
okay.
significantly lower than Sid was.
Great, gonna keep on climbing because I was 20 feet down, right?
Yep. So it's basically
Gonna climb on up.
your whole move is to get to the top edge.
That's great. Fantastic climbing. It's my turn.
I mean, do you have any actions you would like to do? You're at the...
Yeah, I mean, like to drink a health potion.
Okay, you can do that.
Neat. Okay, 2d4 2. Okay, so 5 plus 2, 7.
7? Okay.
Yep. Does this heal, Plant Man or whatever, Mr. Lodge?
Sid, in front of you, you see some of Camion's wounds begin to evaporate, almost as if on their own.
Oh, weird.
They are healing, though, from an unknown source.
Tell him to drink the health potion I gave him.
Them.
Do it. Them.
I keep slipping up, but that is my bad. So, that brings us to Judah, who is not sure what to do, but he will follow Valor's example, and...
God damn it.
You see something that is both wondrous, spectacular, and terrifying, and that is a laser minotaur. Judah will take a, fighting stance. His hands will begin glowing with this bright, white-red fire, and will shoot up 2 blasts of radiant energy out of his palms towards the Skein Witch. He's at disadvantage because this thing is out of his range. Ooh, that's some bad rolls. Ooh, poor Judah. Both go wide, though. This thing is swirling around. The weird ribbons are swirling about this thing, making it difficult to perceive precisely where it is. That brings us to Talila. What is Talila gonna do? Christ.
Standing there clapping.
Yeah,
She's gonna do the best she can.
She's gonna do the best she can.
So many bones here.
So many bones.
Oh, she would have loved the castle.
Right?
Yeah.
Too bad they went somewhere stupid. Not that I care anymore.
She... Let's make an insight check for her. Ooh, okay. She is going to cast Suggestion on Camion.
Excellent.
And they have to make a wisdom saving throw. Oh, that's not good enough. And she's just going to say, stop. And Camion will freeze and, stare down at their body, just, not sure why they can't move.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to Cherish.
Am I at the mesa yet?
As you slowly bubble over to the mesa that Sid, Camion, and Valor are all standing on.
Am I atop it?
You could recorporeate yourself and not fall to your death, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Question. Do I now have my 30 feet of movement regular?
No.
No.
Because you used all of your movement to cloud over.
So how close am I to Camion?
10 feet? 5 feet?
Can I try to grab the deck of many things off of their belt?
You can roll a
Okay.
sleight of hand check or just a straight dexterity.
Okay. I am assuming I have advantage since they are paralyzed.
Yes!
Oh,
Yes!
Good.
Ooh,
Good.
very, very
Good.
clever. Love that proud expression.
That's a 17.
Ooh! You stroll right up and pluck the deck of many things right off of Camion's belt. And
Get
Camion's
wrecked, kid.
skin will change from the russet autumn color to just the harsh, it almost hurts to look at now, fierce gold that is summer. That is the skin tone that Camion adopts when they are ready to kill something.
Yeah, well, fucking bring it on, idiot. So that's my whole thing, yeah?
Yeah. Which brings us to the Skein.
Can I flip him off? Can I flip them off as a free action?
You can raise that bird as a free action, yes.
I make an obscene gesture.
The Skein Witch. Cannot get super close lest they tempt fate, as it were. So, they will hover over the platform, and let's see, who's there? Sid, Cherish, Camion, and Valor all need to make wisdom saving throws. And Camion is doing so at disadvantage. Cherish is doing so with advantage. Oh no.
I mean, it's not the worst. No, it's not good.
What do we got?
17.
17?
Okay. I got 10.
10. Alright, that is a failed save.
Figured.
Camion botches.
Oh.
Ooh, that's not good. That's
is
not good.
Really
Oh,
good.
Reed. Oh, no. I'll come save you.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's
No, go on. No, that's fine. Everyone
Oh,
health potion. I'm basically going to be buying them for myself now. No,
That's
because
fair.
I'm going to need everyone to donate to the Grawl Needs More Health Fund.
Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a foundation. It's just just give me not dying juice.
Mm-hmm.
So, Cherish and Sid and Valor are taking 17 points of psychic damage.
Oh my god. It's gonna be.
Let's kill the B team, B team, B team. Let's kill the B team. Except for Camion, because there's reasons to keep him alive. Just saying.
So, Camion is taking... I need to do some math on this one real quick. Grawl, you're taking 34. Just saying that right now.
Oh.
Camion
I'm
is
assuming
taking...
that puts you out.
Yeah, no, I'm out. Yeah.
Camion is taking significantly more because they botched. So they're both down, regardless. I just need to figure out whether or not Camion's just straight up dead.
Does Grawl fall?
No?
Oh, I made it up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry,
I
I missed that.
I mean, it still
Thank-
sucks, but I was like, oh, well,
I guess
Growl's
bye,
gone now,
Grawl.
I guess.
That brings us to Valor,
Oh my god.
who will not appreciate that whole scenario. Still not sure what's exactly happening. We'll just know that the Skein Witch attacked him and his friends, and Camion is now down. He will rush to Camion's side and try to stabilize his friend. Okay. That brings us to Camion, who has to make a death saving throw. Okay. That brings us to Tirza.
I need to get over there. Can I, if I cast something, that doesn't disrupt my hold action? Like if I cast
You're
Divine
held.
Sense?
I mean, we basically. Your held action would have gone off when the Skein Witch attacked your friends, actually. Though all you saw is the Skein Witch hovering over the mesa, then everyone on that plateau clutching their heads and falling to the ground, some of which with blood seeping out of their ears and eyes.
Could be
Cool.
a coincidence.
It's probably a
It's
coincidence.
probably nothing.
Yeah.
What's your int score again?
So, yeah.
It's an
I will say
8.
Tirza wouldn't exactly know precisely what was happening there, so once we get back around to your turn, your held action is essentially blown.
Is what? I'm sorry.
Your held action is essentially just vanishes,
Okay.
because nothing triggered it.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast Divine Sense.
Okay, what does that let you detect?
Until the end of your next turn, you know the location of any celestial dead within 60 feet of you that is not behind total cover. You know the type of any being. I know I already know what she is, but within the same radius, you also detect the presence of any place or object that has been consecrated or desecrated, as with the Hallow spell.
Okay. You detect that the Skein Witch is in fact a celestial.
Okay.
You detect Tirza and Valor both as fiends.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
Cherish.
Tirza.
Yes.
What here is fiendish?
It's
You said it's within 60 feet?
mm-hmm.
You also detect that the woman in the center mesa is also a celestial.
Oh.
Okay. Cool. Cool story. I think that's my whole turn. Anyway, so I'll figure out what to do with that information.
Cool. That brings us to Sid.
Can I...
You saw Grawl go down as well as Camion, and you can see the Skein Witch floating 60 feet above.
But Cherish has the deck of many things. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, you saw Cherish steal a deck of many things off of Camion's belt. Because
I wanna
you're
get-
standing right there.
I want to get in between Cherish and Valor / Cayman. Not that they're necessarily focusing on her at the moment, but I want to yell up at the Skein Witch. Stop! I don't want to fight you. We don't want to fight you. We want to figure out what's going on.
Okay. Give me some kind of persuasion roll.
Okay.
Or deception, or I don't know what you're trying to do here.
Persuasion is definitely what I'm trying to do here.
Okay.
24.
24. All right. The Skein Witch will stop in their tracks, though admittedly their tracks are hovering 60 feet in the air.
Sure.
Stare down at you, and then it will suddenly disappear and blink onto an unoccupied mesa 80 feet away. And it will say, "If you wish to speak, then speak."
Okay. I can hear the Skein Witch.
Everyone can.
Okay. Why you keep calling us threadless? What does that mean?
And she lets in a little intake of, it's not breath. There's no musculature to need oxygen.
Yeah.
Will look over at Grawl and raise a hand, and in this weird motion that looks like time is reversing itself, blood will seep back into Grawl's body and will stand back up from in the exact same motion in which they fell over, and Grawl is just sort of suspended in the air in a moment just before he collapsed. And the Skein Witch will release Grawl, and Grawl, you are back up to whatever hit points you had before that massive hit. And the Skein Witch will say, "That should not be possible.
You didn't do that?
Mortals die and fade. You are outside the weave."
Do you know why? Why we are? How we became this way?
We do not. But you bring chaos into the tangle. You make it worse. Pure chaos.
Well, how do we get our threads back then? What do we do? What do you want us to do? What are these tests for?
To observe, to see if you survive. If you can survive the tangle.
And if we do?
You may help. And it pauses and looks around. Undo what has been done.
What has been done?
And suddenly you are not on any mesa. There is no ocean of blood beneath you. The sky isn't that weird patchwork anymore. You stand on a little piece of nothing, hovering over the Tempest Rest Valley. Beneath you, the whole valley spreads out and rolls away in every direction. You are standing directly above Stormhaven. From this vantage point, maybe a mile above the valley, you can see the drylands sloping off downward to the west, sloping upwards to the eastwood. Down and away, the giant mountain of Srothheim and the glacier creeping ever closer to its peak. To the north, the sparkling blue jewel of Lake Quelio, twinkling in sunlight, and perimetering around the entire valley, the steep cliffs and peaks of the storm wall. At the very edge of your vision, you can see this black, roiling storm with rainbow-colored lightning flashing through its inside and outside, cracking into mountain tops, shearing away pieces of geology. And the Skein Witch will say, "Undo what has been done to the world."
The storm?
Are we still in initiative?
You've kind of fallen out of initiative at this point.
Okay.
If there's
Talking
anything
about
you would
the
like to
storm.
do.
I say,
You've all retained the same amount of distance you had,
yeah,
so you are
Mhm.
still 80 feet away from the Skein Witch.
okay.
Grawl, you
Yeah,
are
I'm not
conscious
trying to-
again.
Yay!
Camion
not trying
is 100% not.
Yeah,
That's fine.
probably.
What I say, like, we can fix the whole world.
The Skein Witch seems to ignore you.
Okay.
Almost
Are you
as if it doesn't even... It's not even aware that you spoke.
Oh, it's because I'm probably holding the deck.
No.
Hey Sid, can you confirm that?
Are you saying that we can fix the world? We can reverse the storm?
The storm is a symptom. You, outside the weave, can see the disease.
And what do we do with that information?
I cannot say. You are threadless. Grawl, up to anything?
What? She said you can see.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if Grawl actually tries to see out into the storm using Eldritch Sight?
Give me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh, good. Yes, this is. Come on, baby. Come on. Yeah, 20.
No, what?
Yeah,
I will take a picture of this on my phone.
Oh.
Grawl.
This is great because my intelligence is negative.
No one seems to be watching you as you find yourself standing up again. You feel as though you've been jerked upright by some marionette strings that you could not see, but as you gather your will about you, you stare down at the world, higher than you've ever been before. You would expect the air up here to be thin, but it's not. You can breathe perfectly fine. You open your eyes, though, and the words of a shadowed figure return to you, as it says, "Give me knowledge, and I will give you power." And you open your eyes again, and again, and again, and again, as your pupils split and divide as though a cell splitting across the whites of your eyes.
Ooh.
Growing wide, you stare down into the effervescent, glowing rainbow swirl of the outer storm, and as you stare at the perimeter of the Tempest Rest Valley, you swear by all the gods and the steel within your bones that you see something rippling and moving within that storm. A massive, serpentine shape ringing the whole valley.
Well, shit.
Only Grawl sees this.
Yes.
Right.
Of course.
Tell nobody.
Oh,
Okay.
And as you come to, your eyes sort of folding back in on themselves until you have but one pupil, you can see another line of green flame scratching itself across to form a complete, almost complete rune at the base of your sword. It seems as though it's maybe missing one little scratch.
Okay. Sorry, I'm in full hype mode right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Sid, Tirza,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Can I ask the Skein Witch
shook.
what do you know about the old mage and why she suddenly wants to kill you?
The Skein Witch will say, "Those who walk between worlds fear and hate what they do not know. Rightly so."
I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, cut out a bit.
Those who walk between worlds fear and hate what they do not know. Rightly so.
Should we fear you?
Yes.
Whoa.
Is this test supposed to be where we fight you?
The fourth trial is undone. We must start again with new Threadless. We apologize for the necessity, but it must be done.
And what happens to us?
You are removed from the weave. Entire.
That's bad.
Yeah, this is very good. Okay. So we can't return?
And the Skein Witch will turn towards all of you and raise a hand and begin to unwrap the wrappings. And
Oh, that's bad.
as they do, you can see this bright white nexus of energy seeping out beneath. There's no hand. It's just a hand shape held together by cloth. There is only this fractal pattern of whites and blues and purples moving through time and space. And I need everyone to give me a wisdom saving throw who is looking at the Skein Witch. So
that would be me.
everyone but Grawl.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Damn it.
Oh, why?
Who wants to go first?
I'd rather not. I'd
I
really
got a
rather not.
6?
Yeah.
I got a 16.
That's good.
You know, I would add my modifier, but it doesn't matter because I botched.
Oh my.
Oh no!
So, yeah. I don't know why I'm rolling so poorly tonight.
The Skein Witch moves forward, sort of in a strange spiraling pattern around certain people, avoiding Cherish, at least at first. First, she will move towards Judah, who's still standing, unsure of what's going on, transfixed by this creature made of light and fractal geometry. And as she spirals around him, you see flashes of moments. A young minotaur being raised in a monastery far away in the mountains, being told his entire life that there's a monster inside of him, and that if he takes one step in the wrong direction, that monster's going to come out. And slowly being trained to focus his mind and body into a weapon as to be a cage for that beast. Then you see flashes of an older Judah becoming a master at that monastery, raising the next generation of monsters who wish to keep their inner demons locked away. You see Judah growing old and becoming a gray-haired bull man, dying, surrounded by family, lovingly in bed. And the Skein Witch will stop at that moment and say, "Here." And Judah will stand transfixed as if frozen. Then the Skein Witch will move on to the next person. Tirza. We see a young girl taken in by the Jarashir, a cult of folk who worship the outer storm and wish to protect all those left in the world from its power and its ability to destroy all life. You see this girl raised amidst this cult of people, their beliefs suffusing her every waking day, being drawn to a cloak, unaware of the destiny that would befall her should she answer the call that it sung out to her one day. You see her coming to terms with her teacher Netta, learning terrible truths about her religion. You see her going on grand adventures. You see her coming to Stormhaven, meeting all of you, going through the trials. You see her standing at the edge of a cliff, cloak in one hand, and the symbol of the Jarashir in her other, not sure which one to cast off the cliff's edge, before a ruinous stream of lightning crackles up from behind her. And the Skein Witch says, "Here." Moving towards Sid. Grawl, you can step in anytime. You are allowed to act. No one else is.
I can say something, or
You can do or say whatever you like. You are free to act. Everyone else is frozen in place as the Skein Witch makes their way from one person to the next, choosing moments in their life where they will die.
Okay.
She moves slowly towards Sid. What do you do?
yeah. Grawl's gonna. First off, Grawl is gonna draw a sword.
Your sword is already drawn, my friend.
No, I mean like up.
Okay.
Like it's not like just down at the side. It's up, like ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna ask, "What's in the storm?"
And as you speak aloud, the Skein Witch will suddenly look up as though a little taken aback that you can
this
move, that
one.
you can speak.
Oh, he's here. Most people don't pay attention to him, including her.
And she sort of ignores you at first, like, that can't be right, and moves back to her work with Sid. You see a young boy in flashes being raised by a loving, caring mother.
What is in the storm?
And she stops and looks back up. You're interrupting her work.
Is there like, can I feel like if I'm like walking, would I feel like something beneath me? Or am I like...
Feels like a flat surface beneath you. In fact, it feels
start...
like large slabs of rough stone. The feeling of furniture just beyond what you can see.
Fantastic. I'm going to start walking towards her.
Mm-hmm.
What is in the storm?
The Skein Witch will, not sure how to react to you, will float away from Sid, that moment still frozen of Angela tapping her son on the shoulder, saying, "Were you watching?" And the Skein Witch will say, "How? This isn't... No, you can't. This isn't possible."
How close am I to her?
You're probably 30 feet away.
Misty step.
In front of her?
Yep.
Okay. And she's just standing there frozen in front of you.
What is in the storm?
She doesn't answer. She just stares at you with eyes that she does not have. And says, "You are not one of them. You are something else."
Swing.
Give me an attack roll with advantage.
Okay. 15 plus 7 would be a 22.
22 will hit.
Okay. And so I get to attack twice.
Well, this is just your first attack.
Right, okay. So... that's 9 plus 4. 13 for the first one.
Okay.
And then I'm going... So that's going to go through, and then again with an upswing after it's gone through. Let's roll again. I have to roll again for...
Yes, for the second attack.
Okay. Oh, off table. 7, 18.
18 will hit.
5 plus 2 is 7 plus 4 is 11.
11. Nice. That will make it Xaxes. Your sword swings through the air the dull bludgeon of dark steel no more. It is a flashing, thin blade that carves through the strands of cloth that wrap around this creature, piercing whatever hold on reality it has. The fractal geometry within this thing splits and tears, becoming non-Euclidean shapes that you don't recognize or care to recognize as the sword passes through it.
As it, like, on the upswing, Gral's definitely, like, yelling, "Don't ignore me."
And the Skein Witch will let out a shriek that pierces through all of your minds, and you'll all find yourselves able to move again. Tirza, there was a brief moment where you thought you were at a cliff somewhere from here, months, years from now, you're not sure. You were farther down along your timeline, but now you're back here at the place you should be. Sid, you were somewhere in the past, but as you're coming away, that past is beginning to crumble to dust, and the image of your mother begins slowly fading from your mind. That botch will have consequences.
God, what can I even...
That brings us to Cherish.
Yeah.
Cherish is in tears, first of all, most importantly. I'm asking Maz, like, how do I fix this? Where do I go from here?
Maz has one bright, hot solution to this problem. And the creature before you seems vulnerable in some way, and Maz's first instinct is to attack vulnerability. The cause of your pain and the anguish of your friends stands screaming before you, and its undoing rides at your belt. That is Maz's opinion.
I don't think I was, like, on the ground, but I feel the need to say that I stand up. And I don't know if saying anything matters, but Cherish says at the Skein Witch. I wanted to try to understand, but there's no fixing this. And pulls out the deck. And walks closer. I'm not sure how far away Cherish is. Yeah.
As you slowly walk forward, Tirza, Sid, you have a chance to do something. What would you do?
Nothing.
Listman, I think your mic is muted, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Cool. What can I remember? Can I not? I guess I can't I don't know what I remember or don't remember.
You remember that a kind woman raised you, but you don't remember her face. You know she was your mother, but that love has been sapped from you, and you can tell that it's gone.
I can tell.
It's a ragged, flapping wound that has been torn into your past.
Okay.
I'm going to attack the Skein Witch, I think.
You have advantage on this attack.
I would very much like to have advantage on this attack. Fuck yes. It's gonna be a 23.
That is a hit.
Great. I have advantage on this attack. Do I have sneak attack damage on this?
Fuck yeah, you do.
Fuck yes. I'll take that. 20 plus, what I remembered, so it'd be 24. Do I have, I'm avenging the lost memory of my mother. Do I have Stormpiercer's blessing?
Strike her down!
Yeah, okay, so 27 damage.
Tirza, a voice near your ear says, "Have faith. That is not how this will end."
I'm so sorry, I missed that second part.
Have faith. That is not how this will end.
I think... Oh my god, I don't know. Shit, I don't know. I think Tirza... I mean, I can't do anything to stop Sid, can I? He's already...
No, that's already...
Yeah.
In a flash of blazing steel, Sid leapt forward, and while Grawl had the Skein Witch's front in a tatter, Sid, like a flash of lightning, appears and starts slashing away at the Skein Witch from behind.
Okay, I think if I can... I mean, I think she stumbles towards Cherish and says, Cherish,
And
Cherish, I think...
is slowly walking forward, holding the deck of many things out before her.
Cherish, I think I'll die.
Cherish
I don't-
stops.
I think we're all fated to... I think I'm fated to die. I can't... We still don't know what's going on.
And you said Cherish does not stop?
Cherish does stop.
Okay.
Like, yeah. But so, like, she's like visibly kind of broken. Like, and she says, she like turns to Tirza and says, there's no fixing it though. Look at them.
As Sid and Grawl slash and batter the Skein Witch. Behind them, Valor stands over Camion's body, letting out a shout. He will rush forward, flaming spear in hand. Judah, off to the side, has fallen down to his knees and is just staring down at his hands, remembering a life that hasn't happened yet. Talila stands to one side, humming in this horrible little necromantic fugue state she's in, channeling all the pain and anguish into herself and just smiling. Off to the side, Lucrezia stares at you all blankly with a dull, stony expression. She makes eye contact with Cherish, and then looks back over at the Skein Witch.
And Mike, part of my divine sense was what type of celestial is Cretia?
Lucrezia is an Azamar.
I don't know what that is.
No, you do not.
Okay.
You inherently sense that she is part divine, part mortal.
Okay.
An Azamar is essentially a demigod.
Yeah.
Sid, Grawl, if you would give me more attack rolls.
I would love to. Uh, 21.
That is a hit.
Great.
20.
20 is also a hit.
Is the Skein Witch reacting to their...
She is shrieking and letting out howls of pain as her body is being essentially flayed away from her.
Yep, that tracks.
Though not necessarily trying to defend herself in any way that makes sense to your eyes.
12 plus 16.
My first one's a 10.
Okay.
I did 19 damage.
Shit.
And I'm attacking twice. So there's a 20.
A crit?
Yep.
What is the most damage you could deal with your sword? Because to
2d6.
remind our listeners, on a critical hit, I do epic crits. So we take the maximum amount of damage that can be done, and then add a roll to that.
So 2d6 for damage plus 4. So 16.
16 is your max. Now give me a roll.
Plus another 6. Plus my charisma modifier is another 12. So
You mean 10?
yes, math.
So
Math is very, very, very important. Everyone's staying in
26
school.
total.
Yeah.
Okay. Barely any strands of cloth are left on the skein, which whatever corporeal form it is holding is almost at its last strand. Cherish, Tirza, what do you do?
This is good radio.
Yeah,
good
it's. I mean,
shit.
it's down to you, Boo. Tirza, I think, stumbles away because Tirza has been meaning. Player Olivia has been meaning to make Tirza do this for the past 20 minutes. I think I know the answer, but I fall to the ground at Camion's side. Is he dead? Can I tell?
Camion is super dead.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think Tirza puts her hands on him to stay on hands anyway, and just sits there.
How many points of lay on hands do you use?
I only have 25.
How many do you use?
I used 25. Oh my god, can I bring this kid back to life? Oh shit, I didn't do
There
that.
is a crackling of gray, blue lightning around you. Beneath you, The rippling motion around the storm wall grows more intense, and rainbow bolts of lightning ripple up in a ring towards this center point above the valley, focusing on Tirza. That lightning courses into your body in a cascade of colors that ripples out through your hands and into the body of Camion, and they let out a rough, ragged gasp of breath. They are still unconscious, but they are alive.
Give him a healing potion.
In this place and this time, you called out to the powers of your faith and were rewarded. And the cloak on your shoulders emanates with intense, fierce pride.
Cherish keeps walking towards the Skein Witch.
Okay. As you get closer, the ragged strands of cloth around the Skein Witch's form are these just wispy fragments of what they once were. There's barely even a body to perceive here. All you can see is these little fragments of shifting geometry and crystalline swirls moving through the air in blues, whites, and purples. The blades of Sid and Grawl moving through them in space and time, hacking away at this creature who seems defenseless now. And as you approach, she turns, looking for any avenue of escape, seeing you holding out this simple deck of cards, and lets out one final defiant scream of Primus! And this is something I asked you all to do at the beginning of the campaign. We did not do this on camera, but I asked you all to predict how and when the player to your left would die.
Yeah.
And each of you receives that vision now. Tirza, you see yourself at the cliff's edge yet again, the items and articles of your faith in your hands. Behind you, the storm rages and roils and seems on the verge of consuming you. Sid, we see you at the edge of a deep black pool, willow branches draped around you. At the center of that pool, a familiar face, perhaps older, more weathered, looks at you with a tired, sad smile and reaches out a hand as he says, "Follow me, son," and moves into the pool of black, inky water. Cherish stands before blackened trees and glassy stone as a terrible red dragon, ember scale or pyre scale in all of its glory, rising up through the broken landscape and bellowing out, "You will die for your insolence!" Grawl, we see walking through a blackened corridor somewhere deep underground, seemingly distracted by some piece of esoterica as a moth flutters before them. Slowly, he works his way deeper and deeper into this cavern, and while he's distracted, a chain slinks down from the ceiling, and a woman dressed in a cut blouse, a burned scar across her chest, and dead, emotionless eyes dropping to the ground just behind him, raises a knife that appears in her hand as though summoned from nowhere. And as you come out of these visions, you find yourself standing in an empty town square. The fountain burbles low, and the sounds of festival are distant, but you are in Stormhaven, and there is no one here to see you return.
I still don't remember what my mother looks like.
As you stare down at Stormpiercer, seeing the last little bits of blue light fade from your eyes, there's no remnant of the Skein Witch in front of you, it's just your eyes readjusting to true color. You think desperately back on your mother, and you see her face, you remember her love, her warmth. With the Skein Witch's death, all of your memories are recovered.
Okay, good. I think I start crying out of relief, which is... Yeah, that was close.
Tirza, you look up and around, and you find yourself in Stormhaven. Below you, Camion is unconscious. Grawl, you stare down at your blade as you see one last little etch mark appear on the blade, and finally the runes and letters make sense. Your time learning to read was a trial, the likes of which your muscle and blade could not overcome. But now that your mind is sharper, you can read that the runic word, written in a language you're well familiar with, as it has been burned into your soul, and that is abyssal. It reads, Mott.
Okay. Good work, everyone. We're not dead.
Moving out from behind the fountain, you see the slim figure of the old mage, her face ashen, but with a fragile smile playing across her face. And she says, "You did it. It's done."
Why did the Skein Witch say that she was trying to undo the storm?
Probably because she was.
Yeah, but I'm asking the old mage, why would she say that?
Cherish is right. Because she was.
Yeah, I know. I was being flippant.
I think it's probably time we spoke in person. If you would all care to meet me at the tower, I would appreciate it.
Fine. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Grawl, can I have one of your healing potions? I just ignoring her.
I drank mine. Y'all have one.
You can have one. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I gave one to
True.
everybody.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
also
I'm gonna
take
use
one.
mine.
I pour mine down Camion's throat.
Camion has one.
Yeah, but he's unconscious. So
Okay,
They.
kick his. There's.
So,
Let me do
you
for-
all,
Healing
2d4 plus 2. You are all begin to recover, treating your wounds. Judah remains strangely silent through all of this. The chained woman who identified herself as Lucrezia will turn her back on this and amble slowly away from the rest of you.
I don't even know if I noticed.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily think any of you really do.
I
Yeah.
want to, but I don't
I mean, I
think
guess
I
we
do.
could roll a perception check, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
do that. I mean, this is really... Would it be passive perception? Just because I'm not...
Yeah, sure. What are your passive perception rolls?
11.
15.
11.
Growl. What is your perception score? What is your +2 perception?
Sorry, 4.
Okay, so 14. Sid, you're the only one who sees Lucrezia leaving the square.
Can I try and follow her?
Yeah, sure.
Just gonna get back up to 30 now. Okay, I want to try and follow her.
Okay. The rest of you begin recovering in the square. The image of the old mage that's there vanishes after you begin to ignore her. Sid, you track this woman for some time until she turns a corner, and you move in and don't see her at first, and then she is just behind you. A knife held at the ready at her side.
Oh, lovely.
And with that dull, blank face, she just stares at you.
You gonna stab me or what? Like, honestly, after a day like today, if you want to do it, just fucking do it. What do you want?
This knife isn't meant for you.
Who's it meant for?
And she glances back at the square from where you two came, and she says, "The one who caused all of this."
Camion?
And for the first time, a flicker of emotion plays across Lucrezia's face, and with a snarl, she says, "No."
Who caused all this?
The one who couldn't protect us. The one who was meant to save us and can't.
Zenerva? Yeah. Can I ask you something?
If you must. Her face returning to stone.
Who are you? Like, really?
I'm the one whose friends died. I'm the one who wasn't saved. I'm the one who's going to put an end to the old mage.
Okay.
Okay. And she turns. The rest of you recover however you can, and eventually find your way back to the Wandering Rose. There, Netta and Calcon are waiting for you with bated breath. They take you in as best they can and try to understand exactly what happened. Words escape you in describing precisely the events that occurred. The memories are there, but they're slippery like eels. You try to grasp them and bring them out to tell others, and the words just aren't there. You still remember what happened, but speaking of it is difficult to anyone else. But you can exchange looks with the other Threadless, and they know their memories are still there. In the next few days, Judah will wander away, saying words that he has to understand what he saw. He remembers a life that may or may not play out in front of him, and he has to understand what that means. He doesn't really care what this old mage has to say. Talila wanders away with almost no one noticing. One day she's there, one day she's just not. Whether or not she is on her way to see the old mage, you don't know. And no one really cares enough to ask. The very next day, Camion is gone. A note left downstairs with the bartender, simply saying, "I'm sorry." Valor is the only one who remains, though he is of two minds. On one hand, he just wants to get back to his life. If this is over now, he just wants to be away from extraplanar mess. His whole goal through all of this was simply to endure and make it through, and now he has, and now he can try to pick up where his life left off. Admittedly, that was 5 years ago. But he aims to try. And so that just leaves the four of you. With a bit of a question left in the air. And that is, what are you doing next?
Well, this was like my villain origin story, so
Yeah. I mean, I want to hear what the old witch has to say, so
yeah,
I'm gonna go, but I'm not.
happy about it. Right now, where Cherish is I was right, and I told everybody things that they didn't know, and I drew educated conclusions from them, and all I wanted to do was just see what was going on, and no one listened to me, and now everything is worse.
Sid, Grawl?
Grawl starts making prep for the journey. He starts packing things, talking to people in the guilds, asking for supplies and whatnot, seeing if there's a caravan heading north.
There are. People are beginning
soon.
to depart just after the festival.
Okay. He's making preparations for at least one person to go north. There's a potential group. There may be one. There may be four. Who's to say? We'd like enough space on at least one of the carts to go with them.
Caravans are constantly looking for defenders along the road, because even while the cities of the valley are safe, there are long stretches in between where danger still lurks, and the Guardian guilds can only do so much. So any extra security joining onto any of these caravans is always welcome. And if you can provide that, you will be given a place to sleep.
Excellent.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll go, because I have questions for the old mage to answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Tomorrow,
tomorrow,
the spots aren't for you people. They're
For
from
these
my new
other
friends on the
three
on
new
the, on the
friends.
B team.
For my actual friends.
Right.
So the next day, you will set out for the tower. It is a 2-week journey, and from here on out, we ain't doing any more time skips, y'all.
Campaign proper.
No more 4-hour episodes.
For real. So
Yeah.
I think
My
bladder
for
can't
now,
handle it.
we will call this episode to a close, and next time we will set out on the road on the first leg of your journey towards the tower, and perhaps some confrontations and answers with the old mage.
And our destinies.
Well, you might
Maybe,
have
who
already
knows?
gotten a look at that earlier today.
It's fine.
So, sorry for the long one, y'all, but way to go, you survived.
I think that's
That's
part of
good.
our normal closes. Sorry it went so long.
From here on out, like, all of these last 5 sessions had to be a beginning, middle, and end to the session.
Yeah.
From here on out, it's a little bit more loosey-goosey. We'll be rolling into the normal campaign.
Mhm.
So keep it manageable from here on out, I swear.
That's okay.
But yes, this was the finale of the first arc. We are now beyond the days of the witch, and we are now moving into... Well, I don't want to give away the title just yet.
Yeah.
The
Spoilers.
next arc of the campaign.
Arc number 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Sure.
Yep, that's what it
Yep,
is.
that's it.
Dang it, you
Yeah.
got it in one.
Wow.
So,
No.
I don't know if anyone else has anything to plug, Twitter feeds, all that.
Electric Boogaloo. Because I have lightning powers.
Is that what you're plugging?
Tirza doesn't get to
That
plug
bad
anything.
joke.
Yeah. Plugging rights revoked. As per usual, if you want to find me on the internet, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Reedimus. That's TheReedimus. Yep, that's the plug for the week.
As usual, you can find me on Twitter at Schrodinger's Cast. Schrodinger's doesn't have vowels in it. Figure it out.
It'll probably be posted in the bottom.
Probably.
As usual, you cannot find me on the internet at this time.
The government can.
The government can probably.
Yeah. Ask them.
How about you?
Olivia doesn't have anything.
No.
Oh.
Okay, great.
She even muted herself, too.
No, I didn't.
I know.
As always, you can find us on Twitter at MattComRPG. That's spelled MATCOMRPG. You can also email us at materialcomponentsrpg@gmail.com. Always love hearing from anyone listening to the show. Please let us know that you're listening. Please.
Please.
Because the
Begging
analytics
you.
aren't working right now.
We're not screaming
for
into the
4.5
void.
hours, please.
Oh, it'd be fun either way. So
Yeah.
It's true.
And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at MKGorgoni. And if you want to follow Omatep on Twitter, though he wasn't actually in this episode, you can do
I
so
know, it's so
at
sad.
NPC_AN, because he is an important NPC. And I think that's going to do it for this episode of Material Components. Thank you all for listening. Thank my players for playing. I hope everyone has a good whenever it is you're listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
you
now
guys
it's
so
a
much.
Friday, so
Bye, everybody.
for us, bye.
Gonna go drink. Hey.